6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the 104.5 The Zone, Mint Kentucky Down studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Titans, they begin their mandatory minicamp today at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center. It's the final on-field work of the spring before training camp officially opens this summer. Head coach Robert Saleh will speak to the media ahead of practice at 10:15 this morning, followed by coordinators, and then practice begins at 11:15. 10 other minicamps around the NFL will also begin today. But the big news last night in college football, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby is applying to enter the NFL supplemental draft in July per multiple sources. Sorsby received a temporary injunction last week to play college football in 2026, but yesterday, with the Big 12 threatening to file lawsuits, Sorsby's attorney plans to withdraw their lawsuit today. This means Sorsby is officially ineligible under the NCAA's ruling, clearing him to play for the NFL and enter the supplemental draft. And some World Cup news yesterday. Cape Verde shocked Spain yesterday as they shut out the World Cup favorite with a 0-0 draw. Also, some three others ties for the day as Belgium and Egypt tie 1-1. Saudi Arabia and Uruguay tie 1-1. And Iran and New Zealand draw at 2-2. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. And I'm Zach Lyons, filling in for Will Bowling, who just got hitched over the weekend. He's on honeymoon, and good for him. And congratulations to him and his lovely lady, Peyton. And I got Ramon across from me. We got Justin Hawkins behind the glass. And we got new pop filters on these microphones. This is really weird. I only have used, of course, the foam on the microphone. So, of course, this one's really dirty. This one needed to be changed anyway. Don't know what's been going on with this one, but
a lot.
Yeah, a lot has been going on with that one.
A lot, Zach.
Oh, man. Good morning, everybody.
What's going on, man? Welcome into the early morning crew, Zachary.
I appreciate it.
Is it Zachary the entire name or just Zach?
It is
okay.
Zachary.
Gotcha, man. Welcome into the morning crew. I asked you how to drive in. Usually that's the difference between the morning shows versus everybody else. I would hate to be 3HL.
Yeah.
Like, I love what their time slot is, but facing traffic is a problem that I would absolutely hate. Like, I'm so used to not facing it in the mornings that this would bother me for sure.
I would say this, the drive for my normal time slot with Cover 2, Blaine Bishop is Zach Lyons, 1 to 3 p.m. on right here. My biggest issue with the traffic is that particular time, doesn't matter if it's 11 a.m. or noon, whenever I'm coming down, traffic at Trinity Lane at the split is terrible.
Yes,
it makes no sense because it is like three lanes go to the left to continue on to 65 or what, and then two go to the other side. And I don't understand how we can't just keep going forward. But on the way home, it's just as bad.
Is it?
So, like, for 3HL, when they're leaving at 6, it's not as bad as when I'm leaving at 3. So,
Gotcha.
I will have to say that the ride home is probably better for 3HL. But, of course, they all go a different direction than I do.
They do.
Brent walks to his, he faces no traffic.
None.
He has good scenery on his walks.
For sure.
And then, because he gets to go through the gulch. And then I guess they're all going south.
They are, and that's the thing. It's either Brentwood for two of them, and I think Zeph's in Murfreesboro. That's the only one that really bothers me is Zeph's side of it. That 24. Oh, yes.
Yeah, 24 is awful.
Everybody always shakes their head
This
at
morning,
24.
it took me about 45 to get here.
In the morning?
Yeah, usually because it takes 30 because they're doing some road paving.
Oh,
yeah, so
man.
they're down to one lane this morning, and that's the last thing you want to see when you're rolling in about like 4:15, 4:30, and it's all just stopped cars.
Look at you with the traffic update this morning, man. Let the people know 24 coming in. What would that be? 24.
Get our own Ken Weaver behind the glass.
He's Justin Hawkins.
It's 24 by Lee Victory Parkway, and I'm Justin Hawkins.
No doubt. Usually in the morning, like we spoke about it this morning, like traffic coming from, we're both coming from the Hendersonville area, from 65 North. Or getting on 65 South, and it might be more traffic, but it flows still.
Yeah, it still flowed because I got a little worried. I was like, man, am I going to get stuck in traffic when I get up to Trinity Lane? Because that's what I'm always concerned about. And it still flowed. And there was a lot of cars up on the interstate. Yeah.
I've left my house, which I stayed down New Shackle Island in Hendersonville. I've left my house at, Zach, I'm so terrible at times. I've left at like 5:31 in the morning. And I made it here at like 5:55.
Yeah.
Like in the studio at that time too. And it's not bad. It usually flows. The only time I've got for traffic as far as getting stuck in it is usually when it rains. And I'm teetering that line. Like if I leave at like 5:25 or something like that and it rains, I can always count on something happening to where it's going to be an accident somewhere. And I hate that too in the mornings because we should be able to drive in the rain a little bit better is what I've always said.
Yeah.
Slow down. This morning I saw I'm talking about a random Nissan vehicle, Zach. I'm about to go into the right lane, put my blinker on, you check your mirrors, check the side mirror. I look back. And you just feel the velocity of this truck. Like it was a small SUV. And I got right back over to the left lane. It's like, will not be trying this or slowing this person down. I don't know what people are doing when they're speeding that fast.
Because I go 80 or 85. I ain't going to lie.
I'm decent, yeah.
And if I see someone coming up on me that fast, I'm like, if I'm always in the car with my wife, I'm like, oh, here comes a speed demon. She goes, like, you have any room to talk.
Well, if they're going faster than you, then it's obviously a problem.
I get scared in those moments. 2 times I usually get intimidated. It is if I see somebody that's rolling faster than me and I see it.
Yeah.
Like you see the speed coming up, or motorcycles. I do not do well around motorcycles.
Or I'll throw out a third if Don Davenport's on the road.
See that part right there.
Yeah, that's the 18-wheeler.
That's the 18-wheeler.
Yeah, like this morning, I'm going to need Mike in Cleveland to call in and kind of talk me down on this 18-wheeler that tried to run me off the road this morning because he got into the left lane as we're getting down to 1, and I didn't realize at the moment that we were going from 2 to 1. So I was just trying to pass and to get ahead because that's just usually what you do.
Yeah.
And he tried to cut me off, and then when we got back up to speed and we got off back to 4 lanes, I'm going beside him. He lets one car go by, lets me go by, and as soon as I get up to his cabin, veers over to the right, and I'm like, bro, I just laid on my horn. I just let it ride there for like 30 seconds. Just let him get annoyed.
Every time I see Don pulling into the parking lot and I'm coming out of my show, I go, please do not park near me. Please do not park near me.
That's so bad. But it's so true. You know a truck's getting fixed right now as well.
Because she always says when she hits somebody, she never says she hit their car. She says she hit them. So,
Is this a pretty common occurrence?
It is.
Let me tell you something. I've been here for coming up in August will be my second full year. And she's probably been in like 5. She's hit like 5 things.
She absolutely has. She recently hit somebody in the parking lot over here as well.
Hit their car, just pulling in, knocked the bumper off.
I remember those Geico commercials when they used to talk about NASCAR and Clint Boyer he'd go in and like, how many accidents you been? Probably like 200. That's probably Don Davenport.
It is.
She comes in. How many accidents you been? Oh, I don't know if we want to cover you.
I mean, she's hit mailboxes, basketball goals,
cars. People have hit her. She's hit poles.
I don't understand why she's in a big truck.
I was going to ask you the same. Who sold her that? It's a question I have. Like legitimately, who sold her a big?
Is she hauling hay?
No, she's not.
I don't get it.
You know what? I like this. So, all right, real quick on mine. Like Babs, she's what I've recognized is she's got a hidden bougie side of her.
Yeah.
Okay, is what I've recognized.
I don't know if it's that hidden, but I'll go with it.
I'm gonna just ride with just to save her a little bit. She's got a hidden bougie side of her as well. Like when you mentioned her getting the truck, I figured she was just getting a regular Lariat. You know what I'm saying? She's got just a regular baseline XTX, I think is the name of it. Like a low version of it is what I thought. She gets a platinum. That vehicle that she's taking through the ringer right now is a platinum F-150. I'm thinking to myself, no, you should have had a short boy, okay? You should have got a 2-door.
She needs like a Ford Ranger.
Yes. That would have. Just don't sell her the Ranger, though. I mean, don't sell her the Raptor Ranger. Don't do that one. You're right, though. That's her style more than anything.
Yeah.
A Ford Ranger would have did it. But here she is, all of 5'8", driving a platinum F-150 Ford truck, man. What a time it is, man. Be careful. Yeah, I'm with her. Her insurance and premiums are probably terrible right now.
And Bruce in the F&M Bank chat, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, he says he also brings up the Vietnam vet split on the way home because of all this over in Long Hollow Pike exit right past in Goodlettsville. So there's times where I have to get off of Old Hickory and take that all the way to Goodlettsville. It gets bad up in that intersection. Again, it's because this one's because semis stay in the far right lane that eventually ends and just ignores all the signs until they just clog up traffic.
I will say I'm proud of that stretch of highway though, because it's been so bad for so long.
It's getting better,
and they're finally expanding it up at that Goodlettsville exit going towards Kentucky.
It needs it.
Oh my gosh, it needed it in the worst way. They've been working on it, I feel like, and repatching it for over a decade, because I've been going that Westway. I used to go back and forth to Pittsburgh, hop on right there, and you hit it, and it feel like a war zone. Like as far as the road, the way it breaks up and stuff like that. So they're finally getting it wider, and hopefully, like you said, that Vietnam vet split continuing to 65 get a whole lot better. It's not supposed to be done in 2027.
Yeah, it's actually, I feel like, ahead of schedule, which is very rare to say for anything in Nashville.
Listen.
And when it comes to all that kind of, construction and stuff. So I got a little hidden benefit to doing the morning show today.
What you got?
My wife is starting a outdoor project in our covered porch, and she's finishing. And so I injured my foot on Friday, old man stuff. I think Kirby says I may have, Allen Kirby says I got turf toe. But I missed I forgot to put the garbage cans out. They passed. And then I heard it again. I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're going down the other side. So it's raining. I jump over like a small bush because we don't have a lot of room in our driveway, and just like a really tiny bush. But I landed in the wet grass, and I kind of like sprained my foot. Yeah. So I got to miss out on most of the furniture moving out of the back porch. And now today she's like painting the floors and put it down that like non-stick surface and everything. So I get to miss out on all that this morning. Don't have to do any of it before before cover 2.
Look at you getting out of a honey-do list.
I love it. I love it.
I see your wife is also just like a Martha Stewart herself, Bob Vila, whatever it is.
She's done a lot of work on that little outside area and stuff. So she's pretty good at it. She's pretty good.
So I guess we both got outdoor projects going on. I'm doing an outdoor kitchen right now.
Oh yeah.
And my wife project is she did the raised beds, and we're waiting for everything to get finished right now. It's got a retaining wall. It's kind of coming together really good. Bad news though, or maybe partially bad news. So we got the raised beds in, and she's been, raising her plants in like small pots. Yeah. Apparently on the transfer, it can get real sticky as far as like the shock that you get into. It's
really?
Yeah. So we're doing rain dances and praying to the green thumb God that, hey, some of these plants bounce back, and some of them have, but I think there's a shock on transport. I guess it's the same way you got to temper like goldfish and fish going into tanks and stuff like that. And removing them from her grow plots that she had them in and put them in a big raised garden has kind of got her like, why did we even do this? I'm like, no, we're not doing this. We're not playing that game. We're committed to the cause, and we're going to have the most expensive tomato plants that anybody's ever had in their entire life, okay? Because this turned into a small project to a big project, but like first time gardening, that transport like shock is a real thing, and it's kind of got the plants kind of droopy right now. And I think it's lightly funny, but at the same time, this is like her project and her baby, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't laugh at this.
The outdoor kitchen is fall of 2026 or spring of 2027. For us, it's coming down the pipe. Lauren got it in her head that she wants to do one.
You should. Covered, most definitely. I mean, we like buying and doing stuff around your house is always like everything in hindsight. Yeah. Whatever you think you want to do it now, because if you wait later, it's going to be expensive later too.
Yeah. We're getting rid of a grill and a smoker. They're kind of old and I never really use them. I got a Weber grill, got a outdoor pizza oven. Yeah. Oh. And I got a new smoker, a 55-gallon drum smoker that's going to go out there. Just got it. And so we're getting rid of some stuff, and we have like a little prep table out there and stuff, but she says it's ugly, so gotta get a new one, I guess.
Somebody gotta go work a little harder.
Gotta make a new one.
Yeah.
So that's that. We were sitting out on the back porch, and she goes, "Yeah, we'll do the outdoor kitchen next." I'm like, "Oh man, that's one I'm gonna have to get involved in because I'm the one who uses it."
Yeah.
Now she will grill. She'll grill in the Weber.
Really?
Yeah. She'll fill up the charcoal chimney and everything. So
That's awesome, man.
So she cooks a pretty good fillet. I have to say, probably better than me. I will say, she gets it perfect medium rare every time.
Speaking of Weber, I still got to bring you that grill too, Hawk.
Ooh.
I bought in my old house, I bought a regular gas grill. It's a Weber too, and it's underneath our crawl space at the house. And I'm like, it's gotta go, and it's a nicer one too. So, Hawk, hopefully I can get this over to you soon.
I'm available.
Before baby T-Hawk show up.
Yeah.
Wait, that's next week.
Ooh,
Isn't that crazy?
that is crazy.
Wow.
Get all the sleep you can.
Yeah.
That's all I say to you.
The sleep that I get now, what does that change next week?
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You're focused.
And
You're
plus, I
focused.
still wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so
Yeah, that makes sense. You're locked in now.
William Powell in the chat says, give those tomatoes, if they're tomato plants, some plant food, something balanced like 4-4-4.
Okay.
So there you go. Helps with transplant shock.
Okay. Yeah, but she got to figure something out because I got to hear about it. And I'm like, love you, baby, if you listen, but I'm like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
This is the trial and error of like doing these type of projects and stuff like that.
Is this her first time?
Yeah, first time.
oh, it's okay.
But she's got
It's
like
first
some
time.
potted ones though that got some real we got jalapenos growing already. We got some chilies growing already, some bell peppers, and there are some other ones that's got like other tomatoes that did not get transported that are growing in pots or whatever that are doing really good.
Lemon trees. That's what Lauren wants. She wants lemon trees.
You know what? I looked into that.
Did you?
We did one before,
Yeah.
but with this project, we're going to do 3 trees in the backyard as well. Come to find out, if you're going to do 3 trees, then you also got to have like a staggered grow session with trees too, because orchid trees that you grow, like we were going to do like 2 apple trees and a pear tree is what we're going to do in the back. Well, apparently, if you're growing those, you got to figure out when the growth period is going to be because eventually the fruit stops growing on those trees. Like you might get like, let's say it takes 6 years to grow to start fruiting, like really fruiting. You might only get like 3 or 4 years of fruit out of those trees before the fruit pretty much ends.
Whoa.
That's what I've
Worth it?
discovered.
Yeah, I had no clue.
When you go to orchards, like they have staggered tree lines where you can pick from. If you look at it like this group right here, you can't pick from. But this group down, like 5 rows down, you can pick from those. I looked into it because there's a greenhouse place in Hendersonville that we were going to buy some trees from. My guy was like, you can, but you might mess around and miss the grow season on the trees, and you might only have 2 years of growth. It's a very tricky process into like getting into this stuff, man. And I'm realizing like it's more than I thought. Yeah, somebody just said, William just said, apple trees are finicky.
That is crazy.
I had no idea myself.
I had no clue. All right, coming up next.
I'm not going to deter you from it.
No.
If you want to go get some lemon trees, might be good. I had a Meyer lemon tree that I got like a few lemons off of at one point in time. So I think Corey Curtis from News 2 got it as well. Yeah,
she said something like we could put it in our porch. You can, I guess, because I guess they don't get big or something.
I would suggest doing it. Meyer lemons are supposed to be the really good ones. They are a little bit sweeter, a little bit more juicy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I've been using a lot of lemons anyway, so it's probably a benefit for me when I'm cooking and stuff. All right, coming up next, let's talk about this Brendan Sorsby thing. He's going to the supplemental draft, and Texas Tech really just put their foot in the mouths all last week. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
Everyone is loving what's happening now at Genesis Diamonds. Free financing for 5 years. You can make any purchase, pay $0 down, and get 0 interest for 5 years. It's insane. It's not just on engagement rings. It's also on earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry, pre-owned Rolex watches, where you can buy now, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. So that $5,000 gift comes out to just about $85 a month. And that luxury pre-owned Rolex starts at only $150 a month. This is an amazing offer from the jeweler that's always finding ways to bring you more value. All GI certified diamonds are included in this. They'll have rounds, princess cuts, ovals, pear shapes, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. Whether you get that $5,000 diamond or a $50,000 diamond, you can spread your payments over 5 whole years. Lab-grown diamonds are also included. You get the Genesis value price on anything. Pay zero down and spread your payments over 5 years. But hurry, this is a limited time offering that ends June 30th and will not be extended. Genesis Diamonds are located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone, powered by nobody, actually, right? I was about to say powered by all Four Seasons Garage Door, but that's by us. Powered by us, powered by this Celsius right here.
And this coffee
This
that I got
coffee.
from Wally's over in the break room.
I've been trying to get Celsius to sponsor just me personally. And I met like a guy from Celsius the first week I was here, and I was like, I've drank Celsius since they've only had one flavor.
I know.
Like back in
The wild berry or
2000,
whatever it was?
8. It was orange, and it was the one that tasted like orange soda. And then they got the wild berry and all that kind of stuff.
I didn't know anything about them back.
But I drink a Celsius every
Do
morning.
you really?
Yeah,
Instead of coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You don't? Okay. I was on a Celsius bender for a while. And I was just like, I got to slow down a little bit because it does hit you with the proper jolts of energy, man. But I've been more coffee. I go from coffee to tea. And I stop and get an energy drink every once in a while when I need a nice little switch up.
Do you get the healthier ones? I mean, they're all not really healthy.
I get the zeros. Most everything I drink now is zero. I tell myself this. I got one sugar drink a month.
Oh.
And that is if I do, I go Code Red Mountain Dew.
Oh, Code Red.
That's my one.
Ooh,
That's the one.
That's my one. That or the orange one is where I'm at. Like
Live Wire.
Yeah,
Man,
those two, like one a month. Because that's all you can have.
That's childhood right
like,
there.
don't look at the sugar content. I joke every time we go into, I know we're going to talk sports here in a minute, okay? I joke every time I go into Costco or Sam's because I mess with my wife and I'm like, I remember being a kid saying the moment I got some money, I was going to buy all the Snicker bars and all the Kit Kats. I go in there and I'm like, I can't afford to eat this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's that mindset. And I recently got to that point with sodas. Like one a month is where I'm at with the full strength one is what I would say.
That was like the guilty pleasure as a kid when you're growing up. It's like, oh, let me get that Mountain Dew Code Red or that Live Wire. And just,
And then you become an adult. Have you seen how much sugar's in one Zach?
No, I haven't looked at it in a while.
it's awful.
Don't do it to yourself.
Like, imagine a normal 12-ounce can and then half of it's sugar.
Oh my gosh.
And Mountain Dew's the worst in general.
It's so bad.
And that's the reason I say if I'm only doing one, is that one.
Yeah.
And your body only deserves one.
Because I only get Mountain Dew when I do Taco Bell and get the Baja Blast.
They got a zero of that now, too.
Oh, do they really?
They do. They do.
All right,
Zero
I'm in.
version of that.
I need to know that.
Yeah, I get that.
Should I look it up real quick? I'll look it up real quick.
do that,
Does the zero still have sugar, like a high sugar content in it?
Supposed to.
Not supposed
It's more
to.
the opposite end of the spectrum. Chemicals.
Yeah.
More chemicals.
Yeah, the amount of sugar in the Mountain Dew Code Red. Oh, my
Lisa's saying the same thing in the chat. I did not know there was zero sugar Baja Blast.
It is. There's a zero
Yeah, my wife and I
sugar.
get that one.
That's how much I drink soft drinks. I've never really grew up a soft drink kid.
A 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew Code Red, 77 grams of sugar.
Woo!
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I think the
That
can.
feels like it should be illegal.
That's why I told you. I don't want to change what your guilty indulgences are, but don't look at it if you enjoy them, is
Yeah.
all I'm telling you. I think the cans are 56.
I don't know if you guys are Parks and Recs fans.
Yes,
But
I know.
when they have the big drinks that come in and they're trying to get in that fast food joint
Yeah,
or
I
whatever
remember
chain.
the episode.
I can't remember the name, but it had the drinks kept getting bigger and bigger and all that sugar and 77 grams in just 20 ounces is
20
kind of
ounces.
wild.
It is.
That is just one serving, right? Sometimes they kind of trick you and they'll say 2 servings
Yeah,
or
that's one serving. Yes.
Woo!
If you enjoy it, don't look.
Yeah, don't
go work out.
Too late now, especially if you're listening. Spoiler alert.
Which is how I'm not understanding how Kirby continues to do his thing with the Pepsis. But hey, we're cooking.
Yeah. Oof. All right. This whole Brennan Sorsby thing has finally, hopefully, come to a close. Now, obviously, we're going to have to figure out the supplemental draft. So get your supplemental mock drafts ready. We'll do a mock draft Monday next week for the supplemental draft. But I'm just glad it's kind of over. I mean, the kid did it, right? He's been doing it. And I know everybody's like, well, he's 22 years old. He's not a kid. But he started when he was in high school gambling. So technically, he was a kid when he started this gambling addiction. Went across state lines, got VPNs, got buddies to place bets for him. He's been doing this since high school.
That's tough.
And he is obviously, there's a lot of money, a lot of bets. I mean, we're talking even betting table tennis in Romania. Like, it is bad.
I didn't realize he got table tennis. I know he's on balls and strikes. Like, table tennis?
I remember reading an article about table tennis. Like, he was betting on anything and everything that he could.
Plus other countries as well.
Yeah.
Plus other countries.
Like different sports in other countries, like cricket and like all kinds of random.
I mean,
wild
it's a real addiction. This isn't like a guy who got caught making a few bets and then claiming and crying wolf and claiming addiction.
$90,000.
Yeah.
Or like this was just a fantasy football, like, hey, we do this all the time type of scenario. And what's crazy is, like, with the new filings, I guess, from the Oklahoma Attorney General, like, Texas Tech has been laying their head on nothing new has happened in Texas. And they discovered, yes, it has.
Yeah.
Like, he's been gambling in 3 separate states, which is wild to me that it's gotten this far. But also the fact that, what if Cincinnati, like, legitimately, or Texas Tech?
Yeah. That's been my big thing is, like, because when this first started coming out, everybody's like, well, someone from Cincinnati reported this to the NCAA. Well, was it a player, a coach, or someone in the athletic department, or did they all filter up into that part and say, well, Cincinnati left, he left Cincinnati, let's report this because now he's not with us. And if that's the case, I feel like Cincinnati needs to feel some punishment here too, right? If they knew.
But see, that's the thing though too, on like it being Cincinnati, if they were the team that reported him though, Zach, because Cincinnati should understand this with where they are. And this is with all due respect to the University of Cincinnati. But if you have a player that's at your school in football, basketball, baseball, women's basketball, and a bigger conference come for them with a bigger check, they're probably going to leave. Like, can we just be honest about that? Like, so if they're mad at something that they knew was going to happen because Brendan Sorsby had gotten good enough, then that's just shameful on them. That's ignorant on them, in my personal opinion. Like, why would you out somebody that you know you couldn't afford to pay that type of money that he was getting allegedly from Texas Tech for what he'd done at your university? Like, this is the game right now. If their coaches, I don't want to call them sensitive, but if their coaches were sensitive to say, hey, you can't leave us, that's just foolish. They were probably giving him probably $1 million at Cincinnati versus 4 to 6 in Lubbock. That makes sense right there. So if they did tell him, that's kind of shameful, and they should be reprimanded as well if they knew.
Yeah, and they'll probably, whoever it may be or whoever the whistleblower is will probably be like, oh, well, he needed help. That's and can I say something? And I said it over on Cover 2 last week when we were talking about the statement put out by the athletic director of Texas Tech. If you're a student in the public and going to get your public relations degree, don't go to Texas Tech because they obviously have no clue what they're doing.
Do not. Like, I don't. This
go somewhere else. Terrible public relations department.
It's been lacking bad, and PR too, right?
Yeah.
Like, legit. Like, PR has been horrendous for them. So the breakdown of this, Zach, if you want to start us off, we can just go back and forth on why Brendan Sorsby is now in the supplemental draft. Can we just also have this conversation now as well? I personally don't think he gets drafted.
I don't know. I mean, we saw Terrell Pryor get drafted, and I feel like, listen, I'll be honest, didn't watch a lot of Cincinnati football.
I'd be lying to you if I told you I did too.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a hot commodity, cool. I needed to see him in 2026.
Right. And because there was a lot of people when this first started happening that was like, oh, this is going to be one of the top quarterbacks. And I'm like, well, when we were listing all the top quarterbacks of 2027, I don't remember Brendan Sorsby's name ever coming up.
The fix is in is the way I feel about it. It's like, okay, your agent knows this guy who puts out a whole lot of news about draft stock. So now Brendan Sorsby is a hot draft pick.
He has one of the best arms in the class and all this stuff. And I'm like, maybe he does, but nobody ever talked about it until he got busted for gambling.
Thank you, Zach.
And we still don't know what the NFL's going to do, right? I mean, they suspended Terrell Pryor.
Exactly.
And listen, I technically disagree that the NFL should suspend a player for something they did in college. Let the kid, continue on with the punishment that he's already serving with the help that he's getting and all that kind of stuff. Maybe do 2 games if that's what you want to do because that's what they were doing in college. But this is a college issue, not necessarily a pro issue. Now, it could be a pro issue, But I would say let's just, let him kind of see what he is. I wouldn't do a full year.
I love that you're a more pro player than me on this one. Okay,
well, you have a different background, so
like I'm glad that you are because I usually get on the side of I defend the players often. I'm not defending this one.
Yeah,
because you mentioned Terrell Pryor's situation. He went in the supplemental draft as well. For everybody that don't know, by the way,
that was the tattoo thing, right?
It was in the gold pants that Ohio State gave for beating Michigan. Like he gave away gold pants. Meanwhile, Ohio State University had been paying Terrell Pryor for. He had a Nissan GT3. What is it? The supercar that they have. Like he had one of those on campus. How do you think he got one of those on campus?
Right.
Like legitimately. Like let's get past that GTR. My bad. God, that is a monster car, by the way, too. And it's a crazy car for a player to be driving in that era at Ohio State. But he had a Nissan GTR, which is an insane vehicle to be having, okay? But he sold his gold pants for tattoos. Now, the issue was he pulled out. He ended up getting drafted in the supplemental draft. The NFL, I do think, needs to have a partnership with the NFL. And they showed it with the Terrell Pryor draft pick. They suspended him for 5 games because of what he did in college. They've already laid this out. NFL, more than any league, I think, that's doing partnerships with sports gambling, they cannot sacrifice bringing in a player that brings this reputation with them without some type of consequences.
So you view it kind of like a mom and a dad, right? If you go to your mom and say, hey, can I go to a friend's house?
Yeah.
And she says no, and then you go ask your dad, and he doesn't say, what did your mom say? Did you ask your mom first? And then he says yes. And you go, someone got undercut.
Yeah, somebody got undercut, and at that point, if you undercut me, somebody's getting a whooping or punishment. Okay, it's just that simple, Zach. All right, you tricked me. Yeah. It's the way I look at this situation. If Calvin Ridley got a year, and then
that was a guy that was sitting at home on his couch.
Home, exactly. And
okay.
That's the only reason. Like I can understand, according to the aggregates that are out there, that he has some talent, could potentially be a high draft pick. Texas Tech was going to have a very strong team. He was going to be supported one way or the other when it boils down to what Cody Campbell and their collective has paid at Texas Tech. Like it wasn't going to be a bad team. There's no way possible it's going to be a bad team, especially with the talent that he has. The fact that he's not playing this year should not allow him, in my personal opinion, to just say, you know what, unscathed. Now here's the other part too, Zach. If he really does have an issue, you're going to draft him high enough in the NFL draft and give him a big enough signing bonus without him being essentially helped constantly when it comes down to sports gambling. Then to me, it's flagrant on the NFL and Texas Tech for even allowing this to go this far as well. The other issue that I have with this when it boils down to Brendan Sorsby is what team is willing to sacrifice a high pick that might not play for the entire year. And I'll say this part as far as the business side in the NFL goes. You work with a former athlete and Blaine Bishop.
Yeah.
Our pensions are very thankful for the sports gambling side of this business, okay?
I'm sure.
With all the TV network deals that they're doing, the sports gambling that, yes, they are in bed with, they advertise in big-time games, and teams have it in their stadiums from time to time as well. They can't blemish it. There's zero room for anybody to blemish that partnership because the moment that the common fan knows a player has a fix in, NFL crashes and dies. You can't trust it. A random fumble that we've seen a person never have before becomes questioned now. Like that's like if the least fumbled running back and then a Saquon Barkley, let's just use him. If Saquon was ever caught in a gambling ring and he's never really fumbled before in his life, the first time that he does in a game, every fan's going to be like, see, this is why I can't trust the league right here. I don't know if he's pro or against me right now. Those are the issues that you run into.
Heck, some of these things are already happening, whether they know you're gambling or not. De'Aaron Fox had an awful NBA Finals,
this is true.
And people are thinking he's missing shots because he's gambling and he's throwing the game. I mean, these things are just being
but imagine
I think it was just the ankle injury.
Exactly. Like, these things are just already being thrown out there, but like this involves the integrity of the game. When you enter, before you can even step foot on a college football field or college sports field, you have to sign waivers of no gambling. That is one of the first things that you have to do. I did it when entering for Division II of soccer. You did it when you entered Tennessee football.
Absolutely.
You have to sign these waivers, and the NFL is no different. You have to agree to these terms, and if you go against them, you have to suffer these consequences. He's not stepped foot on an NFL football field. Maybe he shouldn't. Because it involves the integrity of the game. I don't know.
I mean, if he hadn't bet on Indiana, even on the bench, or bet on Cincinnati sports, would we be having the same conversation? Like, is it because he bet on football that he was at least had intimate knowledge of, even if he wasn't playing? If it's just basketball, would we really have the same issue that we're having right now?
I think his is because it's such an addiction.
Yeah.
I think that's his biggest hiccup. Like, it's almost as it's Josh Gordon. It's Alden Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's RIP to him. Like, it's guys that have, we can tell, it's Martavis Bryant, a guy that I play with. Guys that have, like, real substance issues, but it's on the gambling side.
Yeah.
Like, you would probably ask yourself, how in the hell can Josh Gordon not stay off the weed? You know, like, why can't Martavis Bryant not pass a drug test? You can, like, those teams didn't trust him. Those guys eventually got out. Like, if it's a real issue, like, between the NFL and the NCAA,
the NFL will move on without you.
Did the train stop? Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. And that's what Brendan Sorsby's kind of going through right now. I'm not calling drug addiction the same as this gambling addiction, but they are clearly hitting the same dopamines in his brain that gives him that same, like, type of enjoyment. That's the issue that Brendan Sorsby has coming into the league. When will you scratch that itch again? Because we've seen weed.
Yeah.
Like, it's happened again to players now. And that's a little bit more of an easier, I guess, process to forgive in the NFL because the substance is self-hurting and it's not league hurting. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even got into how Texas Tech has pretty much fumbled this.
Yeah. The, if he probably would have made a lot more money if he would have just done the parlays.
No, seriously. Just cook right there.
I'm just saying. Hey, just saying.
Just follow that.
Yeah.
On the non-football side of things.
The non-football side of things. All right. Coming up next, we'll talk more about how Texas Tech has fumbled the bag. We'll also talk about the supplemental draft and his prospects. Will anybody take him? We'll look at we'll look at Terrell Pryor. We'll also look at the teams with third-round picks. This is covered too with Blaine Bishop. Nope. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Got my flow state.
I love it.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're going to fill us in then.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running upstairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay, so, I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. No big issues, and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair? The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law, and that ain't got no roof.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is the number. We've been talking about the Brennan Sorsby case. It's finally nearing its conclusion. Supplemental draft will officially conclude the whole story and saga. Let's go to the phones. Go to Larissa. Larissa, you're on with Ramon and Will and Zach.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
I hope you guys had a great weekend. This whole entire situation is sad on so many different levels. You know, I mean, because someone knew what he'd been doing all this time. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is he's not the only one. Now he's just the poster child of what everyone is doing. Oh, no. Everyone's staying on that moral high ground. But this has been going on for decades. And I don't, there's no way of trying to fix it, because I remember, my cousins talking about like UNLV back in the day with Stacey Ogman and, Tarkanian. I mean, stuff that was going on. It's dirty, but it's business. I feel bad for the kid in a lot of ways, because I think someone threw him out to dry, and if whatever college may have known, when they known, whatever, they should be reprimanded too. But it's like, don't act like you didn't know, because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of dough that this kid was betting on. And, someone knew. I hope he gets the help that he needs, but it's gross. It really is. And it's sad, because he's not the only one that's getting manipulated by this. Now he's just a poster child of it.
He is.
But I'm going to hang up and listen.
Appreciate it, Larissa.
Yeah, thank you. It's tough, because he obviously is struggling with some kind of an addiction, but also there's the whole point of common sense. You kind of know what you're doing is wrong, but then what about all of his friends that facilitated this, right? Sure. The Venmo transactions and all that kind of stuff that probably between him and friends making the bets on his behalf. What do the colleges know and the athletic departments and coaches and all that stuff know? Like, a lot of culpability and blame to go around, but ultimately it does rest on Brendan Sorsby's shoulders.
It does, man. But it's also, as Larissa said, and I think they deserve some blame in this too, but I'm looking at this guy, David McKenzie from McKenzie Law. I think he's out of Texas. He's been following this as well. But it is pretty much Texas Tech that kind of screwed the pooch on this one as well. It's pretty much the way David breaks this down. I listened to videos on this as well. The Texas AG's threatening letter to the Big 12 was an unforced error of the first order. Apparently, there shouldn't have been a lawsuit. There shouldn't have been a threat of one, because when Texas Tech agreed to play in the Big 12, they agreed to all of the governing rules of that, and that is the side of the integrity. And where the Big 12 got them, and the Oklahoma Attorney General got Texas Tech and pretty much got their hands just in the cookie jar, basically, is they tried to force a state law versus a federal ruling. And they've pretty much screwed Brendan Sorsby over as well, because the supplemental draft is for ineligible players.
Right.
According to the Texas ruling from the 3 judges last week or 2 weeks ago, Brendan Sorsby's eligible. So he technically cannot submit himself to the supplemental draft because of that ruling right there, which is, again, they got too boastful. They bragged a little bit too much. Somebody summed this up, and again, it's this David McKenzie guy. I'm going to retweet it all out as well. But he wrote something that was very damning on this, as far as, I don't want to say how dumb the Texas AG was, or Texas Tech's law was.
I mean, I don't know.
This.
I'll say it for you. But I thought they were pretty dumb.
I know how lawsuits go. But they sum it up by saying this, in this summary of it too, and there's so much more to it. The Texas AG has managed the rare feat of threatening a lawsuit so weak that he walked his adversary into court, drew a public rebuke from a fellow attorney general within 24 hours, and turned a meeting the Big 12 might never have held into a federal complaint with his own letter stapled to the back of an exhibit. Crazy times. That's how it sums up for him. It's like, you guys caused this. So what basically is saying is this: if Texas Tech and the Texas Attorney General hadn't threatened to sue the Big 12, this would not have come up. They could have simply just played Brendan Sorsby and went back and forth throughout the duration of the season before a lawsuit had ever come up. But because they threatened to sue their bosses, basically, they forced the Oklahoma Attorney General and the Big 12 to say, ha, we got you. Yeah. You're breaking state and federal laws by trying to enforce a state law versus a federal ruling on this one. They screwed them.
I mean, it was silly. The 20-minute video talking about it. You got your head coach coming out. Like, you don't have to speak on it.
You don't have to.
You really don't have to speak on every little thing that happens. And I know this isn't a little thing, but the best thing scenario is you got the injunction.
Yeah.
You don't need to victory lap. You don't need to worry about what Georgia and Nebraska are doing and all that kind of stuff. Let these things play out because you have the law on your side already with an injunction. Whatever happens, happens. I don't know. Like, I think they just it was just really bad handling of this whole thing.
Here's the other part, though, too, that like conferences have certain laws they have to like follow and rules, basically, as loose as it is. This is also in it where it's just like, you guys are hypocrites, Texas Tech, because when Baylor went through his issues, you voted for sanctions against Baylor. Now, Baylor was also found guilty of those sanctions, but Texas Tech also voted to impose sanctions against them. It goes like this. The complaint, this is from the lawsuit that the Big 12 has now against Texas Tech. It says the complaint itself is well made, and its strongest section is also its most dangerous. Paragraphs 32 through 36 are devastating on Texas Tech's hypocrisy. Texas Tech voted for the Baylor sanctions in 2017 and now insists the conference has no power to sanction anyone. That is good lawyering, and it should sting. Pretty much, you know that we do this. We have integrity in this conference. You guys also cooperated with imposing sanctions on that other team. And now you're telling us because it's you, we can't impose sanctions on you? Wrong. This isn't even a case with Texas Tech. This is a shut up, get in line, and tell your player he can't play with anymore. This isn't even a case anymore.
Well, it's funny to me because they're like, well, we're not associated with this lawsuit. We didn't fund this lawsuit. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. And then they put themselves front and center for no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason, they put themselves front and center. All right. Coming up next, we'll talk about a little bit. We'll close it up talking about the supplemental draft, some NFL players NFL teams that may be interested in Sorsby. Should they be interested in Sorsby? We'll talk about that when we come back. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
7:03. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs 104.5 The Zone studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Big college football news last night. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby is applying to enter the NFL supplemental draft in July, per multiple sources. Sorsby received a temporary injunction last week to play college football this upcoming season, 2026. But yesterday, with the Big 12 threatening to file lawsuits, Sorsby's attorney plans to withdraw their lawsuit today. This means Sorsby is officially ineligible under the NCAA's ruling, clearing the way for him to enter the NFL and the supplemental draft. Today, the Titans begin their mandatory minicamp at the Vanderbilt Health Football Center. It is the final on-field work of the spring before training camp officially opens this summer. Head coach Robert Saleh will speak to the media ahead of practice this morning at 10:15, followed by coordinators, and then practice will begin at 11:15. Some World Cup yesterday. Cape Verde shocked Spain as they shut out the World Cup favorite with a 0-0 draw. Also, 3 other ties for the day, as Belgium and Egypt tie 1-1, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay tie 1-1, and Iran and New Zealand draw at 2-2. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon and Will here on 104.5 The Zone. I'm Zach Lyons filling in for Will, who's on honeymoon. Of course, they say at 3HL on assignment. I like that. He's on assignment.
Right. On assignment. That's
on
exactly
assignment.
what it is.
He's on assignment this week. A bunch of people filling in for him. I'll be here tomorrow morning as well. 6 hours of Zach Lyons the next 2 days. It's what everybody wants.
Let's do it.
Everybody always says they need more Zach in their life, and and I'm sure that is met with pure sarcasm, by the way.
They call it the Zach attack.
The Zach attack. I am a little peeved. Yesterday was our golf charity golf event at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club, and I am a little peeved. There was the RNW Hail Mary.
Yeah.
The BR Margarita, the Buck Rising Margarita, the 3HL, I can't remember what they were, the 3HL something.
Oh, I think they were the transfusion.
The 3HL transfusion. And so all 3 got show names. Ours was for cover 2, the Hitman. So I just got completely left out. Now Blaine campaigned, on the show when I brought this to his attention. He campaigned to name it something different.
Did he?
Yeah, because he said that's not fair. And it was the 3HL triple, is what it's called.
Triple.
What a great teammate Blaine
Yeah,
is.
so I appreciate it.
Oh.
I've also campaigned next year for the thing to have a football and other F word shot.
No doubt.
They call it the F bomb.
The F-bomb.
I mean, the marketing is right there.
That's
Just put me in the
fantastic.
marketing department at some point.
Go downstairs already and get to work, man.
Get to work.
Please get to work downstairs.
I did drink the Hitman cocktail a couple of times yesterday.
Left you hanging, man. That's
and
cold.
it was good though.
What was
Dirty
it?
lemonade, bourbon
lemonade.
and lemonade. So
So were you the dirty part of the drink?
I guess probably so. But it was very good.
They're so dirty they couldn't mention it.
Yeah, we didn't know what the drinks were. I don't think any show knew that they were getting a cocktail.
I had no idea.
And so I was glad, first off, that we got bourbon, and I love lemonade. Chick-fil-A lemonade, best lemonade around, but I love lemonade.
Really? Yeah. I would agree with you there. I'm with Stoney. Stoney said he's still pissed we missed out on the Bloody Marys.
I thought he had a vodka or something.
He sure did. Stoney
I don't
mentioned
know.
it yesterday,
Bert showed up
filling
with a
in.
transfusion, said, "Hey, just get a drink."
Yeah.
This is so
I was riding around with Bert. He took me, when I got there after I did my show prep, I was like, "Hey, Bert, come pick me up. I need a refreshing drink." And we went around, and that's where I saw the Hitman.
The fact that Bert is a boss and riding around on a golf course, like golf cart, is so fitting to me.
Listen, he was riding around on it for so long that when we pulled up around 12:30 back to the clubhouse, he requested AJ to go ahead and find him a new golf cart because he was afraid that golf cart was going to run out of battery.
I believe him. Whatever he said, I believe him, man. But it was a good time yesterday, man. It was a great showing. I thoroughly enjoyed it yesterday, too. Been out.
Yeah. Beautiful weather.
It was
Minus
very
the bugs.
beautiful. Yes. Y'all didn't deal with the mosquitoes, did you?
No.
Oh, they were everywhere.
I've
Oh,
never,
my
like,
goodness.
this was like, Amazon like mosquito net type of like morning yesterday. Like they were everywhere, and apparently it's because it was cool. So the mosquitoes had went dormant, and they went dormant around the clubhouse. And when they started to wake up, the birds were very like aggressive because they were picking mosquitoes out of the sky and like little small bugs. I don't think I got a mosquito bite, but they were all over me yesterday, though.
Yeah, we just had geese. That's all
geese?
we had.
We also had some chipmunks.
Yeah,
we had
I saw
chipmunks.
like one chipmunk.
You did?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a chipmunk and a sipmunk? Is there a difference?
Oh, yeah.
There is.
Oh, yeah.
One's
They're
a lot-
two totally different
One's
animals.
a lot smaller, too. Yeah.
This is news to me.
You mean chipmunks are like this big.
Yeah.
And
I know squirrels are bigger,
huge,
like, I
but
thought,
the
like-
tail's different too.
Okay.
You've
all right,
seen
for
it,
sure.
yeah.
I have seen them. Like,
well, I mean, it's like, you know,
Chipmunks
Rocky
got the lines down.
You
though.
got
They
Rocky
do.
and Bullwinkle, right?
Yeah.
So Rocky is a flying squirrel, which is about the same size as a regular
Rocky's a
squirrel.
flying squirrel. Sure
Yeah.
is.
And then Chip and Dale are chipmunks.
Chipmunks,
So
sure.
there you go.
Alvin
it
and the
is.
Chipmunks. I know you.
Yeah,
I
Alvin
do
and the
know
Chipmunks.
that one, but I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought they were related or something like that. It
Yeah.
kinda threw me off.
Well,
on
they
that
may
one.
be related. I mean, they may be
Maybe.
cousins or something.
Who knows at this point?
I don't know.
Who knows
Yeah.
at this point, man? They were out there yesterday kicking it with us, though.
Yeah. We don't get a lot of squirrels in our neighborhood, but we have one now, and it's in our bird feeder that's at the window, and it sits its butt in one bird feeder side, and then it eats out of the other one. Then birds come in and eat his butt food.
Wait a minute.
That's the only way you can put it, right? It's butt food.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting his bare butt on these in this bird
Super
seed, just
intrusive.
like right there.
That's just so intrusive
blends
right
in.
there. I'm with Daniel in the chat. Geese are jerks. Why don't we fight or combat geese?
They're mean.
Everybody runs from them.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody.
I think someone hit one yesterday
Somebody-
when we got there
No.
because all we heard were like screeching tires and something hit, and I don't know if they weren't paying attention and hit a geese. I mean, or whatever.
dawn.
But I guess one of them, Kirby was telling me that one of them was messing with Stoney on his way in.
Get out. No,
Yeah.
I missed that one. Stoney beat me in yesterday.
Yeah.
But nobody ever combats them back.
No.
Are they protected? Do I need
Oh
to
yeah,
know this?
they're like real jerks. They're real
Okay.
mean.
All right, for sure. Well,
I mean, they could take people down. They're rude.
it's on the right type of people.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I'm not waiting on my opportunity, but I have in mind how I would meet that opportunity. Is
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Like this isn't like the black bear that's walking around Gallatin. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
Yeah.
But I'm not messing with bears. But a geese, we gotta go like stand toe to toe or toe to feather.
Yeah.
Is the way I look at that situation.
I could take we had someone on Football and Other F Words. The running gag on Football and Other F Words is that back in the day before we joined here was that, you know, what's the biggest animal you could take? And I said I could probably take a mountain lion and stuff like that. And they surprised me on one episode, our buddy Mr. Lebowski, who used to co-host with me, and they brought it on, and Buck was on this show too. They brought on a expert from the Nashville Zoo and was trying to say that I couldn't do it, and I just kept arguing with him that I could. I'm like, I could do it.
I'm a man.
Yeah, I could do it. All you gotta do is just punch him.
I just don't play.
Punch 'em right in the
but you know the
nose.
thing about yeah, right. Get close to them first before they scare you. The thing about mountain lions, though, from what I've understood, you'll never know they're watching you.
Yeah.
You're dead before. That actually kind of scared me right there. I just said you're dead, and next thing you know, he's playing the noise. But apparently, you're dead before you actually realize with them because they blend in so well with nature.
Yeah.
And you won't hear them. Not
Never
even
hear
a little bit. So Zach, I'm putting my money on the mountain lion. I'm just saying.
That's all right. Everybody wants to doubt me, but I can take him. I can take that and a shark. I could take a shark too.
No.
Yeah.
No.
If I know that's swimming up at me, all you got to do is punch those in the nose.
And then they just go
And
away.
they go away.
Who's told you this, Zach?
I'm just
There's
saying.
no science.
The movies tell you that.
Exactly. There's zero science beside. All I know about a shark is this: if they go past you, you're probably good because they can't swim backwards. Like they have time to loop around. It's a matter of where are you by the time they turn around.
You know, I go deep sea fishing a lot. Stoney won't ever get on the boat to go.
He won't.
No, he's scared of the ocean.
Is it? Well,
Yeah. So
I'm with him on
listen,
that.
there's some pictures
I
of him on Twitter where his wife, they'll go to the Jersey Shore or something, but like not a really nice part of the Jersey Shore where there's the ocean and the beach and
You
stuff.
made him seem like he was just low down
He's
trash.
just down there. He's just down there with Snooki. And but like he sits under an umbrella that's really too small for him to sit under. And he's just reading his books while his wife's out in the ocean. He won't get in the ocean. He's scared of the ocean.
There is no reason for us to be in the ocean, okay? Unless you're on like a cruise ship.
I love the ocean.
I'm Team Stoney on this one, man. It's just
I don't like the ocean.
Have you flown to Hawaii or like a coast like across the water?
I've done London.
Have you seen how small like the little specks of white are?
Yeah.
So can you imagine? Those are waves.
Right.
Can you imagine what a human looks like in that? For the people that's been like rescued from the ocean, like that is nothing but an act of God, right?
Yeah.
I'm with them. Like there's a draw, a gravitational draw I feel while being in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
I don't know what that feels.
If I can't touch, I'm not going any further.
How far will you go out and dive before? Like we're going to eventually talk sports at some point.
Yeah.
This is a sports moment right here. You're a swimmer.
I really don't know how far out I've been in the ocean. I know there's one time I was just out in like a boogie board, just kind of like swimming around, and apparently I got this is as a kid, got too far out, and my mom notices like she could barely see me, and then she dives and comes out and gets me and stuff, and I'm just like, I have no clue that I'm in like any kind of danger, just like drifting way out. Because I just don't have that fear receptor for ocean and water and stuff, I guess.
That's insane to me. No, absolutely not. You don't feel like the pull of the ocean on you?
I'm more cognizant now of it ever since, learning about undertows and all this kind of stuff. We've been watching some reality shows where they're out in the ocean. I'm like, I could do that.
It's like you a madman. Okay, you are a madman. You enjoy the ocean like that. That's crazy. I'm with Stoney. The ocean is a world of death.
Yeah, that's what he says. The ocean is a world of depth.
I agree with him there. Other than when you fishing. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like we've reeled in sharks, close to the boat and all this kind of stuff. And I never get scared over it.
You just cut the hook off.
I'll still, even if I know there's like a shark swimming around eating our fish, I'll still sit on the side of the boat. Ain't gonna get you. Ain't gonna jump up and get you.
It might.
Until it does.
Zach,
until it does.
I'm learning something new about you every single segment of this show at this part.
I don't know. Something about the ocean. Like, I'm more scared of jellyfish than I am of sharks.
I mean, they're also in the ocean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, you can see those sometimes.
I salute you is all I'm telling you. I salute you. Like when we're on cruise ships and like we're doing like the night passage or whatever, and you see nothing but black darkness, I get scared then as well.
We've gone on fishing trips where we left Orange Beach, went all the way around to Grand Isle in Louisiana. So that's a really long, and we go all by boat. And so there are times I woke up at like 2 a.m, they woke us up, and I was the only one to wake up. And so I went out there to start fishing. And all I see when I walk out is darkness, right? The waves are going crazy because it's been storming that weekend. And then there's a huge oil rig. And so we fished around this oil rig, and I caught a 180-pound bluefin tuna, yellowfin tuna. Straight up, took me 3 hours to reel that sucker in.
God, dog.
But like, the ocean and stuff doesn't really bother me. I don't really get boat sick or seasick or anything like that. So, we've taken it to, we sometimes just stay out on the ocean when there's nothing around.
I get it.
To fish.
If you're born in it, it's a little bit different. But yeah, that's fascinating. I did not have you as Aquaman out here. Crazy.
I'm a little bit I love it. And Stoney says, y'all haven't even brought up octopi yet either. The octopus is the human of the ocean. I've never seen an octopus out in the water. I mean, like, you have to go like the deep sea, like real deep ocean to even, and they don't really come up to the surface that much.
They will attack you too.
That's just, to me, that's paranoia.
No, it's not. It's called reality. I'm with Zone. I'm with Stoney. I told you we'll eventually talk sports here, but that's reality right there, Zach.
All right, let's talk some sports when we come back. The New York Knicks ended a 53-year drought with their championship win on Saturday night. Where does that rank among teams with large droughts in all of U.S. sports? We'll talk about that when we come back. This is Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045. We've talked about Brennan Sorsby's the only sports topic we've talked about. We've talked about the ocean. We've talked about trees and planting trees and outdoor kitchens. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Robert out in Knoxville who wants to talk about the ocean. Robert.
Morning, Robert.
You're on with Ramon and Zach.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
We're good. Good morning.
Hey, big congratulations to Ramon. I never called earlier, but congrats on becoming the radio.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
That is bad to the bone, man. Congrats. Hey, so I'm a professional fisherman and a charter captain. Was a charter captain down in Southwest Florida, so I can kind of relate a little bit of Ramon's fear of being in the water. With my job, obviously being in the water all the time, I've seen some crazy stuff with sharks and stuff like that. So personally, I don't like to be in the water. I'd rather be on a boat. So I don't know how, Zach, you're kind of crazy about not being scared of being on the ocean, because I've seen some crazy stuff in my time. But I know I only get like less than 60 seconds, so I just want to make a shout out to you guys. If you guys are ever interested in doing a charter with bass fishing and stuff like that, I am a professional fisherman down here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I do travel all over through Tennessee and take people out fishing, so I'm more than pleased to take you guys. It'll be a privilege and honor. So
no, Rob, we give you a little bit more time on this show, man. We got 4 hours.
This ain't Buck's show. We enjoy people. Buck hates people.
Yes, I got to ask you, what's a crazy thing you've seen in the water, real quick?
Fishing or being on the boat?
Being on the boat.
So the craziest thing I probably have seen, so I was actually in 2022, I was in Saginaw Bay, which is Lake Huron up in Michigan. There is an island called the Charity Islands. I was running out there. It was like maybe a 15, 20-minute ride out there, and I didn't really monitor the weather, and I was coming back. There was about 6-7 footers. It took me about 3 hours to get back. Felt like I was always going to die.
Wow.
This was on a 21-foot bass boat, so you can only imagine being on the Great Lakes and seeing all these waves. That was pretty fun. I called my wife halfway through, and I was like, if I don't make it, you just know where I'm at. So
Wow.
See what I'm saying, Robert? Like that, there's no reason for that. Like next time we got to get you a 60-footer or something, like something a little bit more secure, Rob.
I will say the people that go out in like their smaller center console boats out into the ocean and and I'm like, okay, now that may be a little rough, but they're probably, professionals and stuff,
like Rob.
Yeah, like Rob.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've traveled all through the country and seen some crazy stuff. Was blessed to, be able to fish all the Great Lakes and, all through the saltwater stuff down in Southwest Florida, Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic, and so forth. But yeah, I mean, being on a 21-foot bass boat and trying to chase smallmouth, I mean, I love it. I'll do it all day long, but it's a lot of people will say you're pretty nuts. So.
Yeah, no doubt. No wonder those guys charge a lot for those charters.
That is true. That is true.
No doubt. Appreciate it, Rob.
Yeah.
We'll have to reach out to you, man, if that's the case, for sure.
Hey, listen, bass fishing. I haven't been bass fishing in forever.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Robert. I haven't been bass fishing forever.
His Instagram handle.
Yeah. Okay. I know we said we were going to talk about the sports drought championships and all that kind of stuff, but we didn't get into the supplemental draft.
Yeah.
And Brennan Sorsby obviously is going to be entering the supplemental draft, or at least attempting to, depending on, he's got to get accepted. He's got to submit the application, all that kind of stuff. But, looking back, there's been some interesting names that have entered the supplemental draft. Chris Carter, a lot of people forget that he was supplemental draft. Carter was suspended before his senior season for signing with an agent, which is some of the stuff that you get suspended for just sounds like crazy in today's world of college sports.
There's way too many handcuffs that were on guys back in the day, but I get it. Yeah.
1987, and then he wasn't the only person to go into that one.
No.
Brian Bosworth in 1987, linebacker out of Oklahoma. And then Dan Cilio was also drafted in the 3rd round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bernie Kosar in 1985. And then you found one with a Titans connection.
I did, man. Sure did. Rob Moore, former Titans coach, was a 1st-round selection. And it goes, Moore graduated from college with a year of eligibility remaining and did not declare in time for the regular draft.
Right.
And he still went 1st round to the New York Jets, man, and ended up having an all-pro Pro Bowl career, 2 times Pro Bowl and 1 time first-team All-Pros. He led the league in receiving yards. I feel like, Zach, looking at this list of supplemental draft picks, before the 2000s, I feel as if like it really was a tool to help teams get guys that they felt like could really help them. I think it's kind of pushed back a little bit as of late with how many people are selected in the supplemental draft. Teams just seem like they either got bigger rosters, which may be a part of it, or guys aren't justified enough on who they choose to take in the supplemental draft right now. It hadn't been the latest one since when? You see it?
2019 was the last one.
Yeah.
Jalen Thompson, safety. The Arizona Cardinals spent a 5th-round pick. He was declared ineligible for his senior season after an NCAA rules violation. He was the last player to be picked in the supplemental draft as of 2026. So.
I remember some of the guys that are in my era that came through. Another Pro Bowler, Ahmad Brooks, supplemental draft. He was taken in the 3rd round by the Bengals. He was dismissed from his college team. So it's been an issue where it's just troubled college situations, impermissible benefits that have happened, or just ineligible because of academics or team situations. I guess team rules.
Yeah, Dave Brown, because we got this question in the F&M Bank chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. Dave Brown, quarterback out of Duke, in 1992 was the last first-round player in the supplemental draft. Brown graduated from college with a year of eligibility remaining, did not declare for the NFL until after the regular draft had been held. As of 2025, Brown is the last player taken in the first round of the supplemental draft. There was a little streak from 2009 to 2012 where at least one player was selected in the first round. 2009 was Jeremy Jarman, defensive end, 3rd round.
Played against him.
Harvey Unga, fullback, 7th round out of BYU. Josh Brent, nose tackle, 7th round out of Illinois. Terrell Pryor, quarterback, 3rd round for the Raiders. Of course, we talked about his improper benefits is how they kind of classified it. Then Josh Gordon in 2012, wide receiver, 2nd round of the Cleveland Browns, dismissed for failed marijuana test. And then it was Isaiah Battle in 2015, Sam Beal.
Do you know the story of Sam Beal going on right now?
No, what is that?
He's missing.
He is missing?
Missing. Since about over a year, if I'm not mistaken, right now. His disappearance happened in July 2025. He walked onto the beach somewhere and disappeared. He was returning home in the Virginia Beach area. I just wanted to bring some light to this situation. It's popped up on my algorithm from time to time, but he's been missing since July 12th of last year after dropping his girlfriend off.
That's crazy.
He was a current NFL player now, but he's a supplemental draft player as well. Right now, as of June 2026, he's been missing for 11 months. Nobody knows where he is.
No, I had no clue about that.
If you go down a rabbit hole, it's kind of a sketchy situation, and nobody knows.
Right.
This was a current NFL player at the time, and he's missing.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to look into that. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So it brings up the point with, Brennan Sorsby. We don't know what the NFL is really going to hand down as far as any kind of suspension or violation or whatever. We know Terrell Pryor got 5 games.
Yeah.
So he was suspended for 5 games when he was drafted in the 2011 supplemental draft in the 3rd round. And you look at if he's not suspended for the whole year, and I don't know if NFL teams will have that information before the supplemental draft or if they kind of, they'll know through the grapevine, so to speak, of what maybe to expect from the commissioner and all that. But I look at teams like the Jets in Cleveland, who also have first-round picks in next year's draft. The Jets have, 3 in next year's draft?
Jets are loaded. Browns are loaded.
And the Browns have 2.
So quarterback-needy teams.
So, so if you wait, and so let's say, I'll put in a 3rd round or 4th round, like the Cleveland Browns have 2 4th-round picks.
Yeah.
I'll put in that, and maybe Sorsby is who people proclaim he is. He was a first-round talent. And if he is, I have that in the building, I can spend those first-round picks on building around Brennan Sorsby. Now, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, you already have Shadur Sanders. You have Deshaun Watson. You have Dylan Gabriel. You have Taylon Green. I'm sure I'm missing about 5 other quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns because it feels like they just hoard them.
You mentioned Deshaun already.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like they have a ton of them. They obviously probably shouldn't be in this conversation.
You're right.
Unless they – and listen, none of those guys are Todd Monken's guys. And I know that you and Stoney talked a little bit about this yesterday about coaches and their guys. None of these are really Todd Monken's guys.
No.
And you have the draft capital to afford to, hey, I'll put in a 4th-round bid on Sorsby, and I'm fine with next year's draft capital. And if he doesn't work out, hey, guess what? It's a 4th-round pick. I mean, they spent a 3rd-round pick on Dylan Gabriel, and he's already going to probably be out the door there at Cleveland.
I agree.
So, and the Jets are kind of in a similar situation. But I do wonder if he's gone for the whole year, I don't know if he gets drafted. Maybe a 7th rounder.
So with that being said, you're right. I think if you're going to take him in a supplemental draft, you have to look at this side of it as well. How much has he paid to his debt, I guess, to the football society? If he doesn't, the way the NFL has already ruled on the Terrell Pryor side of this thing, where he came into the NFL with a suspension, 5 games is what he got at the same position at quarterback. As it stands, and I think he will file for himself to be ineligible, but as it stands, Brendan Sorsby is still eligible. So he can't technically be in the supplemental draft. Now, if they deem him ineligible through the Texas state legislator, then he can hop in. It's a matter of what happens to him coming into the NFL. If you're telling me this is a situation where you can get a guy in-house, you can go ahead and start grooming him. You can teach him. I think Terrell Pryor was able to still practice and be around the at that time, the Oakland Raiders at the time. If that's the case, you kind of roll with it a little bit. But at what point do you give up? A 4th, in my opinion, is still too rich. If I can get him later in the draft, but at that point, you probably have to bid against teams that are also interested. Arizona, Browns, Jets. Heck, at this point, Minnesota could be in a position for a quarterback. He is a mobile quarterback. That's the thing, looking at his stat line. In 2025, he had over 580 yards, also with 9 touchdowns. He's a dual-threat quarterback. There is some talent there. His ability to take care of the ball is absolutely apparent in his time at Cincinnati as well. He threw 27 touchdowns and 5 interceptions last year. There is something on the bone, but it's a matter of what kind of issues are you willing to deal with week in and week out. Quarterbacks, in my opinion, are head cases. And I don't say that in a bad way. I just say everything has to be right for quarterbacks. It's one thing to hold the ball in your hand and have to command and control the offense and be, and the way I see it, the head and leader of the entire franchise. I know there's ownership, but the quarterback holds on to that. Are you willing to deal with that public slander that comes along with it, or the perception of what he is and what he's doing? Like, there have been players in the NFL, Zach, that have had SA issues, sexual assault, domestic. There have been murders or manslaughter that has come about, but you view those situations as a very public, I guess, issue where those guys can go seek that type of help, or if there's another issue that pops up, it doesn't affect the game. That's the issue that Brendan Sorsby has to deal with in the team that's playing him as well. Like, I don't think he'll be in a position where he'll be bought out by the mafia.
Right.
Or Vegas come in, hey, we need you to throw the game. Like, I don't think those are going to be the cases. But you do have to side-eye him if there's an in-game issue that just seems super crazy. Like the running back last year that dropped the ball in Arizona before going into the end zone.
Oh, yeah, that cost me $850, by the way.
Come on.
I mean, like, you should see me when he's running down the field. We're in the studio, the podcast studio over there. He's running down the field.
Come on.
And I am going crazy. And then it's me, Jackson, and Stoney. And then he drops it, and I just fall to my knees. I fall to my knees.
Now, imagine that being Brendan Sorsby.
Right.
Who's got wheels, right? Who's in a position to where he can go make plays. Amari DiMarcardo.
Yeah, he owes me $850.
Yes. It was.
I may send the mafia out to him to get me that money.
I mean, you got the desert in Arizona to take care of it. But imagine if that's Brendan Sorsby. As innocent as that was by DiMarcardo, what if it's Brendan Sorsby?
Right.
What is ownership going to think at that point? There is talent there.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of how does the NFL hit him over the head with a year.
Yeah,
And
that's the big thing.
If that's your third round pick that you choose to take him in that round, is it worth it?
Yeah, that's where I'm like, if it's maybe 6th or 7th round, maybe he doesn't even get drafted and he could just go sign with the team elsewhere. You know, a sneaky team, you mentioned Arizona, Minnesota, sneaky teams in Miami. I know they just paid Malik Willis, but we all know contracts can get out of fairly early. To Malik Willis, they did not do a very good job of surrounding Malik Willis with talent.
Did not. But here's the other part. Is Brandon Sorsby of the same ilk as C.J. Carr and Arch Manning?
See, that's the question.
A
lot of people think he has the talent, but he's also very raw. It's almost like it's not really Will Levis, because I think he's better than Will Levis was coming out of college, but it's almost like a Will Levis situation where it's like he's raw. This was a huge, important year for him in college that he's missing out on. And that's what his lawyer argued on his behalf.
His numbers are legit. Like, they are. I can't deny that and say he's not an NFL talent. If you were Roger Goodell, Zach, how are you? Like, have you thought about how you're handling it?
I mean, it's tough because if I guess I need to say this. If I'm Roger Goodell,
and this is your business. Meanwhile, let me
business.
just paint this to you too as well. You've been trusted to curate the NFL. Owners essentially tip him $1 million a year per owner. So he's about a $40 million, $50 to $60 million guy.
I need to be commissioner of football, by the way.
Listen, he's built it up. He's got the deals. He's got the TV. You got Amazon in the middle of last season deciding to pay, what was it, $50 million for one broadcast on Christmas Day? Like, you've cashed in. So think about your next steps as you allow this in. Now, I know, well, what about domestic with James Pierce Jr.? I know, but it don't affect the bottom line. It doesn't affect, the wins and losses and as far as the money line goes.
Okay, I'll answer your question coming up next. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
If you're looking for TRT that's flexible enough for your lifestyle, head to Low T Center. They are the #1 name in TRT. You can choose from testosterone shots, pills, and so many other options that they have. You can also pay with your insurance or out of pocket, or even have your treatments shipped directly to your door. And now Low T Center, they're offering new peptides, new treatments, and more, where you can boost your energy, libido, and confidence for results that you can feel. Synergex and Low T Center provide testosterone replacement therapy and hormone replacement therapy tailored to your body, your lifestyle, and most importantly, your budget. When your hormones are imbalanced, patients feel fatigue, low drive, just mood changes and body changes as well. Balancing your hormones, it means living a better, healthier life. And here's the thing. Testosterone is not just for men. Testosterone is an important part of the life, too, for women. It helps boost your energy, your confidence, and your drive, and so much more as well. And no, it will not turn you into a man. Doses for women, they are very careful so they can help you meet your own personal goals. You can head over to Low T Center right now and take their total testosterone test. It takes about 20 minutes, and you get your results right there, and you're right out the door, man. And here's the other thing, too. They will not try to upsell you on anything. I'm telling you right now. Book your free testosterone test at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is the number. I'm Zach Lyons, filling in for Will Bowling. You, of course, hear me on Cover 2 as well from 1 to 3 today. Before the break, you asked me a question about if you were Roger Goodell, how would you handle the Brendan Sorsby?
Because I want your perspective, because I think you'll think of it differently than mine. Like I said, with mine, I'm almost of the mindset just he got to field this one.
Yeah.
The way I view it for the most part.
Yeah. I think if I wasn't, I'm not commissioner of the NFL in a personal way. So, like, for me, I'm a little bit more lenient towards Sorsby, but it also comes with asterisks of, like, hey, just because you made it into the NFL doesn't mean you quit going to rehab and seeking help and doing all that stuff, you know, and maybe we'll use you for a promotional about the dangers of gambling and all that kind of stuff. So, like, there's a little bit of that. But from the NFL's perspective, it is coming from a point of, hey, I'm Roger Goodell. I'm a lawyer by trade. I've been doing this. I know I've also suspended active players for doing, you know, like we talked about Calvin Ridley, NPF, right? Like,
NPF
and all that kind of stuff.
One, yeah.
And so there's this whole scenario where it's like, how you have to do a suspension. How long is a suspension? And I think a lot of people's go-to is always 6 games. He was doing 2 games in college on a, what is that, 12 game?
12 game, yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you make the playoffs, it's a little bit longer. So, 17 games here, 4 games, 5 games. I mean, just do the Terrell Pryor. The precedent was kind of set, right, for a supplemental draft pick being suspended entering the league. So maybe do 5 games. I understand gambling's way more of a problem now than what it was with Terrell Pryor, because I mean that thing was kind of silly.
His was impermissible benefits, so, right? The little gold pants, that they sold off for tattoos. I'm gonna sound harsh, but I think if he does do all of those things that you mentioned, as far as
got to stay on it, because if you stray from the plan, you're suspended.
And then this is also just a warning to other college players that may be sending money to friends and say, hey, can you put this bet in for me? It may be somebody at UT Chat, okay, that's trying to get some extra money for scholarship. Like the way Hawk brought this up earlier, the way compliance talked to us about gambling was, back in the day, like, you could only do, like, maybe online poker.
Yeah.
But, like, it couldn't be, like, it was a walk-on that I remember doing online poker. And he paid for his college tuition because he had to pay for
real
school.
Big back in the day when we were in college.
It was, man. And he had, like, a Chrysler 300C at the time. Like, he was doing really good. I wonder if he ever became a pro with online betting. But the actual betting part of it, though, is different from, I think, just pulling the slots or gambling. You know what I'm saying? Shooting dice or something like this. This really does hits the integrity of the game. And I know the NFL and college sports, you throw integrity out the window, but the protection of the sport is where it becomes very cloudy for Brendan Sorsby. I think at minimum, 12 games. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't allow this to be okay.
So 12 games would be the college season, right? Because that's what they were basically saying,
pretty much,
until the injunction happened and all that kind of stuff.
Now, which team is going to take him with knowing that 12 games are going to be a part of the suspension?
And that gets you back down to the 6th or 7th, right? I see a lot of people saying he should get the Pete Rose treatment. He should be banned. And one guy says he shouldn't be allowed to play in the NFL. And I'm like, okay, well, then Calvin Ridley needs to go, right? Yeah. But he's a benefit for the Tennessee Titans, so I don't see anybody saying that Calvin Ridley needs to be out of it.
But has Calvin, at the path that Calvin was on at the time, has Calvin gotten back to that point post-suspension?
Well, as far as
production. That's the other part, too.
Because when you miss that time, it's like Deshaun Watson coming back. I mean, like, are we really going to expect him to be the same?
He hasn't been.
Cordell Volson for the Tennessee Titans, right? Like, he was gone all last season, and now he may be starting. Yeah, give me a break on that one. That one's got me scared.
There's a lot that goes into missing that much time.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that. More of your phone calls. We got John in Murfreesboro. We'll get to that as well. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon and Will, hour number 3 went by. It always goes by so quick.
So fast.
So fast. Hour number 3 will be joined coming up at 8:20 with Austin Price of VolQuest.com. We'll talk a little bit about University of Tennessee. I mean, the Chaz Coleman thing is still lingering out there. I mean, I'm sure him and Hubs are probably just really tired of being
just boots on the ground every single time. But they're good. I got to give it to both of them. Man. They usually have a lot of good information.
Yeah.
And, of course, the quarterback battle that continues to go on. And now recruiting is picking up big time.
Yeah. I mean, the recruiting over these last 48 hours has been really great for the University of Tennessee. I mean, that's hard for me as an Alabama fan to give a compliment, but it's been really good.
You guys have been quiet. Bama
that's the Kalen DeBoer way, I guess. Just that West Coast, chill attitude. Yeah, sure. And he got his little extension. And
he
all
did,
that kind of
which I was shocked by.
I know. Blaine makes fun of me all the time because I'm like, I do not like Kalen DeBoer.
Do you not?
No.
Oh, wow.
I don't. I'm not to the point where, like, if I won the lottery, I would spend money on his buyout like some people in Alabama. But I am that Florida State game and really put a sour taste in my mouth about how they came out flat and all that kind of stuff. And listen, they went and played pretty well. They were, and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
It's not, and maybe it's the Nick Saban in me, but I was around for Gene. That's when I grew up with Gene as well. So like I've been through the dark times as an Alabama fan, and I don't think we're anywhere near that. I mean, in today's NFL or NCAA and NIL world, Alabama will always hover around like the 9-win, 10-win mark. And that's fine. Like I understand that not everybody can win a championship every year, but I just don't know. We're starting to see now that Kalen DeBoer's his people are coming in, like his recruits and all that. So I'm at least willing to give him a little bit of time.
It's Stoney and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, and we were discussing, what do you want to be? It was an NFL franchise. Do you want to be 8-8, 9-7,
right?
Or is it 10-7 now? Or, eventually get to that 13-4, you're knocking at the door. And we had some of our listeners in our YouTube chat was like, no, I don't want 8-8. I don't want 10-7. They want either all wins or all losses. And it's like college is harder, I think, to win a championship because there's so many teams. And then you have an Indiana that pops
now
up
it's
out of
24
nowhere.
team college football playoff eventually. Then it'll be 64 teams or something like that.
So it's hearing you say, like, Alabama will always be 9 wins. Like, 9 wins.
It's fine, and it's good. That can get you in the playoffs now. I mean, especially if they go 24 teams. 16 teams probably get you in there. It's just that, like, where's the next step? Yeah, the next step. And that's what it's kind of wait and see mode for them.
No doubt. I get that. Everybody, that was the biggest thing when DeBoer got the job was he's won at every level.
Yeah.
It's a matter of you got to see it yourself. Going back to the Scoresby thing real quick, though, too, and as we get ready to talk to Austin, like, the Vols are close, I think, on that situation.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend, I think, goes to Texas Tech that plays volleyball. So that played probably a little bit of part. And I think they gave him a nice bag, though, too. But in seeing $6 million.
He didn't even, it was reported up to like almost 900,000 at Cincinnati.
That was it for him?
Yeah.
I got to leave, too. Yeah. I got to leave, too. That's $5.1 million left on the table. But the Vols are close or in on that conversation. But in all of this, you mentioned as well, like Tennessee's been on the forefront of opening the doors for a lot of these court rulings. And I'm seeing in some of the comments from Texas Tech people, of Big 12 people, well, if Tennessee hadn't did it, they've always been a part of this. It was like, we kind of did kick in the door with the Nico side of pay to play and rulings and everything else is kind of going into this.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good thing. It's a good and bad thing, right? Because it's the good and the bad of being at the forefront of something is that you make the mistakes too. You may set the precedent, but you make the mistakes, and then everybody else gets to learn from you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you kind of are at the forefront taking those risks, you get a lot of good with the bad as well. So, but I mean, I'd rather be ahead of the game than be one of the teams playing catch up on some of these situations when it comes to the NIL.
We got John and Burrow on too, about to take his call, but the issue that I feel like is going to be so bad moving forward. One, the negative recruiting that comes along with it. Like Texas Tech, they got the bags, and they will continue to pay athletes to try to get that elusive national championship. But as out front that they've been, as far as Cody Campbell, the Texas Tech administration, even the attorney general in the state of Texas, this is embarrassing. They got dog walked. Like, this so bad with how they, like, the Big 12 filed this. Like, there's no case for them.
No.
And if you're Cody Campbell, if you've paid a softball player over $1 million numerous years, basketball team look like they're going to be competitive, and now you got also the football side of this thing. How much? That was one of the biggest questions I was asking Will about they got Texas money. Well, they got oil money. So what? Zach, I don't care how much money you got. When you get either embarrassed or you get tired of not getting the outcome that you want, that kind of becomes tiresome.
Yeah.
I got to close up the pocketbook. I'm sorry, but you guys got to go win it on your own. And I wonder how close, with as embarrassing this is Cody Campbell, the billionaire that's supporting Texas Tech, how close is he to the brink?
I mean, has to be pretty close. Because, I mean, this whole thing is just kind of taking a life of its own in the span of a week. You got the injunction, and then here comes more lawsuits for whatever reason because the people that you're funding couldn't keep their mouth shut.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd be like, yeah, it's time to pull that back. Let's go to John in Murfreesboro. John, you're on with Ramon and Zach.
Good morning, fellas. I'm going to take the opinion that I don't think the NFL should punish Brandon Sorsby.
Oh, wow.
And it's not because I don't think what he did was serious. I do. I see it more from the perspective of the man has a problem, and having been around addicts in my life, punishing them doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't fix it. Suspending him doesn't fix the gambling problem. If anything, that's going to put him away from the team, and then he doesn't have the right support system around him. I've also seen the NFL go after people simply because they want to try to fix an image problem that may or may not necessarily be there. I am a Saints fan. I do remember Bountygate.
Right.
I don't care that he gambles. I do care that he gambles on sports. Like, I don't care if he goes to a casino and plays cards or something like that. I care less if he gambles on baseball or basketball or soccer or women's curling in Finland. Like, I don't care if he gambles on that. I only care if he gambles on football, and let that just be hey, you now have to go into a diversion program kind of deal, an addiction treatment program, but we're not going to keep you away from your team. We're not going to suspend you or anything like that, because that's not how you solve the problem. I also think it's kind of ridiculous that the NFL is punishing a person for something they did in college. That would be the equivalent of my current employer punishing me for the crazy hijinks that I had in college. And I have problems with that. I don't think that's real. I think it's very disingenuous, and it's really just trying to protect an image, not actually solve a problem. But then again, when has the NFL actually ever cared about solving a problem or helping players? They only care about their own pocketbooks.
But John, like, that's the point, though. Oh, no, you could.
Yeah. I didn't hang up. He hung up.
He hung up. John, appreciate the call. But that's the point, though, is as much money that the NFL is bringing in, and the other side is how much they're pouring back into the cities that have an NFL team. Like, there's a lot of employment that goes into it. There's a lot of deals between cities and teams and the NFL and Congress with taxes and everything else that go into how they operate and how much they generate money. Like, you can't say that it's an image thing or it's a protection side of it. Look how ecstatic Nashville is about getting the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's not just because of the thought that the Titans will play here. It's because also it brings in millions of dollars to said cities. So the NFL, that's the point, though. They have to protect that image of it being a moneymaker.
Yeah.
And the moment that you allow it to be, I guess, under the microscope by big networks, and I'm talking about from Fox and from CNN and from MSNBC and 60 Minutes, all of this crumbles. So the preservation of what the NFL is has to be met with an iron fist. I don't even want to speak on the domestic and drug side of what those images look like from an integrity side for the NFL. I just know this. If Zach and I are playing a basketball game or playing cards, let's go cards.
Okay.
And I think I got a chance of winning. But Zach already got the deck, like, you got the deck screwed in your favor.
Yeah.
You got it in your favor, stacked in your favor. I'm going to be real mad at you, Zach, once I find out.
Yeah.
And that's what the NFL is essentially saying. Like, we can't stack the deck against our consumers when they're already paying for Netflix, for NFL ticket, for Prime, for I mean, all of them. Like, that to me, if they don't just stop this side of it, the gambling side, from Sorsby or any other players, you as a consumer are going to be out on it the way I said, no matter how much we love football. And maybe I'm too...
No, I think you bring up a good point. And he brings up, I think, a good side of the argument, but I don't think it's a strong side of the argument, is like, it's not the NFL's job to help him.
This is true.
Here's the thing. He talks about that be like if my company, fired me for something I did as a kid. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of times where people have gotten fired or suspended for tweets they tweeted and lost jobs back when they were 5 or 6 years ago. And now that may not sound like a long time, but some of these are younger kids, right?
For sure.
Like that stuff does happen.
It does.
In the real world, because it is about image.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it shouldn't be about image 24/7, but this is a world that's all about imagery, right? It is all about perception, public perception. And we can talk about how that just kind of sucks in general if you do not agree with that. But at the same time, that's the world we live in, right? So the reality is that the NFL has an image to maintain, and they've already suspended players. NPF, Calvin Ridley. I'm sure there's probably a few more. Those are just the most prevalent on top of my
Lions
head.
Players, that was a few years
right,
back.
Yeah, there was a Lions player. Yeah.
There's a list of guys that have gotten this. So I love your stance, though, John, in the world. Legitimately, I love the fact that you're saying, like, the NFL shouldn't have to impose it. But the issue is they already did it for a lesser charge that we spoke about with impermissible benefits that Terrell Pryor had coming into the league.
Yeah, and again, it's not the NFL's, not really maybe you could argue it is the NCAA's job to maybe look out for these kids and help these kids get help at that age and that environment. But the NFL, it's not the NFL's job.
Well, here's the thing. Brendan Sorsby's a quarterback.
Yeah.
Usually
22 years old, by the way, but I mean, it started in high school. But
the thing is, usually the smartest players on the team that we can kind of correlate that to, they're usually the smartest. He knew better.
Yeah. At
that's
some point,
he knew better. Yeah. That's what's really tragic about this situation. Now, that also leads to the rehab part of it.
Right.
He has to do something more.
Yeah. I agree. Let's go to we were going to go to Charlie, but you know what? That's good, because now we'll just go and say, hey, coming up next, Austin Price of AllQuest.com. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. All right. Glass is shattered. It's Ramon and Will. And that means here on 105 The Zone, that's time to bring on Austin Price of VolQuest.com. And Austin, what question is the most annoying question to be asked every week? About Chaz Coleman or about the quarterback situation at the University of Tennessee?
I don't feel like we've talked much about the quarterback situation lately.
There you go.
I think so. I would definitely go Chaz Coleman.
Well, I'm going to have to ask about Chaz Coleman because we can't let you off. What's the latest, if anything has changed over these last, last week? Is anything changed with the Chaz Coleman situation?
No, it's pretty much status quo. Nothing's changed there, and again, I don't expect him to be a part of Tennessee's football program. And to me, it's just a matter of when and not if.
How much of that situation falls at the feet of Jim Knowles, who kind of knows Chaz Coleman, or is this just all a surprise to everybody and that this is all a Chaz Coleman kind of deal?
Yeah, I think that's been the natural reaction is you have so many coaches that came from Penn State. How did they not know this? That's what everybody says. From talking to people, everybody says that this kid was not like this at Penn State. Now, the only thing I can compartmentalize here would be the fact that he did not get to Penn State until the summer last year, and you basically go right into football stuff, right? And there was no off season. There was no off season time. And then, of course, he had the concussion last year, late in the year, and this and that. So I don't know where things went, kind of amiss for him, but you wish him all the best, and you got to move on and figure out what Tennessee's going to be along the defensive edge this fall.
ESPN had said that Fajon Brandon is more advanced than Hendon Hooker at the same age. Where do you fall on that? And are you of the opinion that if all things are kind of equal between him and George McIntyre, that he will get the edge in that competition?
Well, I don't know who wrote that, but for my liking, I don't think whoever wrote it was around Hendon Hooker at this age. So and neither was I. So obviously he's a higher ranked prospect than Hendon was at this age. He comes in as a 5-star player. Hendon was not a 5-star player. So there's a different set of expectations with Faison, and he had a really nice spring. He still has to build on that. He has to build on that this summer. He has to build on that early in fall camp and win the job. The notion that this thing is just decided is wrong. Now, did he have a strong enough spring to put himself in position to win the job? Absolutely. So he's got to continue to, build upon, what he did this spring and have a really strong start to fall camp. And if he does that, then, he has a real good chance to win the job.
We're joined by Austin Price of VolQuest on 3 this morning talking Vols. Austin, man, the Tennessee Vols have gotten in a little bit of gymnastics, man, with the flips that they have going on as of late over the weekend. Let's start with Deion Cooper. What went into that, man, as I see Kelsey Pope's continually just burning the trail when it comes down to recruiting at this point in his career?
Ramon, how old are you again now?
40.
Yeah, you've officially reached old man corny status. Going out, gymnastics and flips.
I thought it was solid. That's dad joke. Yeah, that was solid, I thought.
Listen, I've got plenty of corny dad jokes. I know, because I'm 43. So, listen, Tennessee's been working to flip Deion for a while. Kelsey Pope did a fantastic job there.
Yeah.
And realistically, that thing's been trending to Tennessee for several weeks now. Kudos to Deion for continuing to look at it. Again, listen, if a kid picks Florida State in their current climate right now, then that's probably not the wisest decision, because there's a real possibility that they're looking at a coaching change by November. So then and even then, like they're having trouble recruiting, period, because it's just such a stagnant place right now. You look at 3 years ago, they're sitting there and undefeated, and Jordan Travis is, doing his thing, and he gets hurt and they get obliterated. And then the last 2 years have been such a train wreck, minus the win over Alabama to start last year. And so I think it's a smart move
kind of the trajectory of the program, or the two programs are kind of totally different. And, Tennessee, again, wanted to keep the young man in the state, and they were able to do so.
No doubt. The most surprising one this weekend was, of course, the Kenneth Simon flipping, son of Kevin Simon at the University of Tennessee as well. I thought he was a lock for Bama. Austin did not have this on my radar at all, that the Vols be able to flip this one back to being in state. But what went into this one, and how proud of a moment was it for Kevin and Kenneth as well, and the rest of the family?
Yeah, I think the whole family was excited. I had it on my radar.
Okay.
I would say it was totally shocking to me. And listen, I talked to Kevin and Kenneth a lot over the last week after he got back from to Nashville, after he just hung out. I think Tennessee deep down felt like this was always possible. I think they felt like it would be this fall, though. I think it happened faster than they thought. Mm-hmm. And again, organically, he came over and hung out with some buddies, and he didn't even hang out with the staff. It was just one of those things where, like, he just hung out with Keyshawn Bowman and Tristan Keys and Tyreek King, and just had a good time, and then kind of just realized, man, that was a lot of fun, and I could do that all the time if I went to Tennessee, which is deep down where he always wanted to go anyway. I think when you're trying to write your own path and write your own story, a lot of times you overthink it. And, Kevin's path was at Tennessee, and Kenneth loved Tennessee, but I think he was just bound and determined to not, well, my dad went there, so I'm going there. And then, so you look for reasons, and I think a lot of times you start to look for the warts, you know what I mean? Like, you try to nitpick things and you overthink them. And I think when he got back down to it, his love of Knoxville, his love of Tennessee, and his love of his friends really were the deciding factors in the flip. And, I think for Tennessee, it was a big deal. I think for the fans, it was a big deal. I think, and I told Kevin this, I think the rub from it is honestly better this route than it was had he just picked Tennessee to begin with, because had he picked Tennessee to begin with, every fan would have said, well, of course Kevin Simon's kid's going to Tennessee. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if Ramon, your kid, was going to Tennessee, of course Ramon Foster's kid is going to Tennessee. Yeah. Now it's like a little bit more like, whoa, they flipped him from Alabama. Like, it's more of a thing. And so, I think a little bit of a bigger deal.
No doubt. I agree with you there. And I'm glad to see that he goes home. I remember talking to Kevin about maybe his 9th grade, 8th grade year or something like that, and he was waiting on that offer whenever it was going to come through. So I'm glad that he was able to make that decision and get it right, too. Another one, too, they're going big boys, man. Kamari Hudson out of Virginia, 4-star tackle. Do you see him continually playing that in college? Will he transition inside as well, as he's a highly rated guy?
I think he can play both. Okay. Right tackle, guard. I think he's got position versatility there, kind of like yourself. Yeah. So I think, there's some options there for Kamari Hudson, and again, to get him and beat out the in-state Virginia Tech Hokies was a big deal. And at one point about a week ago, I think the kid was going to Virginia Tech, and his mom played a pivotal role in him picking Tennessee. I mean, she just had such a trust and belief in the staff here, and I think that's one of the big reasons that Tennessee won out.
I have to ask this question because I've kind of always heard this is the state of Virginia and the Carolinas are a hotbed for Tennessee recruiting. I think most teams that are in that world right there. With the incorporation of James Franklin going to Virginia Tech, how does the Virginia talent, I guess, look in the future with the competitiveness that they've kind of had, that they're incorporating into this region of the Southeastern Conference, on how teams kind of get recruit the areas? The same way I look at Clemson. When Clemson's good, Tennessee usually doesn't get a lot of the Carolina players, and vice versa. Does the James Franklin part of this hold any, I guess, angst on guys leaving the state of Virginia?
I mean, he'll make it harder to recruit the state of Virginia, but I don't think you can. I don't think Virginia Tech's still. They're not Georgia. They're not Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, like, I think if you're Tennessee, you got to continue to recruit the state of Virginia. It may be harder to win
as many battles in that state that you want to win. But, it's kind of like recruiting North Carolina. Now, trying to recruit South Carolina when Clemson's good, that is extremely hard. Now, trying to recruit North Carolina, that's different. Those kids have really no allegiance anywhere because there's not a dominant football team in that state. So I think if you're Georgia, if you're Tennessee, if you're Clemson, if you're any of those top schools, you have a much better chance in the state of North Carolina, where I think it's more of a free-for-all than it is, one school having a dominant tie in recruiting.
Austin, I didn't really realize there will be much of an issue that the Vols versus Texas on September 2026 at 12 p.m. would be that much of an issue. Why are people so upset about the kickoff of this game?
Because everybody likes night games.
Okay.
I mean, nobody. I mean, first off, nobody likes to play a noon game at any time of the year unless it's like against a, low-level opponent. You're just trying to get in and get out and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. People like night games. People like to be able to tailgate. People like to be able to not have to rush into town. I mean, let's face it, if you're driving over, a noon game, what time are you going to leave Nashville? I mean, nobody wants to get up and leave at the crack of dawn. And so I think, people get up, people just like night games. They feel like it's a tougher atmosphere at night. Things get a little wilder at night when you have a chance to tailgate all day. And the fact that it'll be 1,000,000 degrees and the sun directly above you probably is also a contributing factor as to why people have the gnashing of teeth about a night game. But listen, the SEC also, look, what does the Big Ten do? The Big Ten has Big Noon kickoff. Yeah. And, when you have Big Noon kickoff, like that's a thing. I mean, Ohio State and Michigan, one of the top rivalries in all of college football, play their game at noon. Yeah. I mean, that game is played at noon every year. Now, it's in November, so it's a little bit different. But I think the SEC would like to try to counter Big Noon kickoff with a really solid matchup, and I think that's part of this.
Talk a little bit about Xavier Gillum and how he'll help retool this kind of defensive line under Jim Knowles. I mean, he's the Penn State defensive tackle, transferred in. Ranked number 20 on ESPN's ranking of the top 100 newcomers for the season, but that's number 20 is number 2 defensive tackle on the list, the highest of all the transfers ranked according to this list. Talk about Xavier Gillum and what he can do for this Tennessee defensive line.
He had a fantastic spring. I mean, was uber active, disruptive. You talk to any of the offensive linemen, you talk to honestly any player on this team, and they'll talk about how disruptive he was and how many plays he made and just the impact that he had on spring ball. So the notion is he's going to have that kind of impact in the fall. And if he does, then that's a great sign for Tennessee because he's kind of got some Omar Norman-Lott qualities where he can play inside, but he's quick and he's really a problem for, those unathletic guards that you can see in this league that are kind of oversized and big, and he's got that twitchiness that defensive line coach Rodney Garner likes, and so he's somebody that Tennessee's going to be counting on to play at a high level this fall.
Another one that I thought was an interesting one. He has some SEC experiences. Defensive back Kayan Lee. 81 tackles, 3 interceptions in 36 games at Auburn. Obviously, Jermod McCoy and Colton Hood have both left in the NFL draft. So you get a lot of new faces for this cornerback room. Just talk about a little bit about how important it is that he's coming in with SEC experience for this defense.
Yeah, I think it's important. Obviously, you got Ty Redmond on the other side, who played basically the entire season last year as a starter. So, it's not a total redo of things, but McKayen's got a lot of experience in this league. He's been productive in this league, and a kid that can run. And so I think that gives him a real shot to transition and have equal success here that he had down on the Plains.
Oh, Dow. Nate Ahmet still projected to be top 10, man. Just how much of a feather in the cap is this to Rick Barnes' tenure right now as he's kind of assembled another team that can have some potentially a first-round draft pick in it as well, Austin, with Nate being top 10 at this point?
Yeah, I mean, projections and mock drafts are just like in the NBA what they are in the NFL, which is a bunch of nothing for me. You know what I mean? like there's a lot of posturing that goes on and a lot of overthinking and we'll see kind of where Nate ends up. But I think there'll be a team that falls in love with his skill set, his upside, and I think Nate's best basketball is definitely ahead of him. It may take 2 more years before you see him go boom, but I think when he goes boom, you're going to go, whoa. Like, I think that he's that kind of player. He's just still very young, and he's got to continue to develop his body and develop his game. But, you know, the more you can have, you know, draft picks in the first round, period, but if they can be top 10 picks, that definitely helps Rick Barnes as he continues to assemble another good roster here, and has already done that with the transfer portal, and we'll see where things go. But I think everybody on campus is rooting hard for Nate to go as high as Nate can go.
Just real quick, too, one last one from me. How close were the Vols on Brendan Sorsby as far as the deal goes? They weren't going to operate in that alleged $6 million NIL side of this thing, because it's gotten ugly for him.
Never got that close. They were much closer with Sam Levitt.
Okay.
They never swung as big for Sorsby as they swung for Levitt. I think the market shifted with Levitt more so than Sorsby, and Sorsby was already pretty much done to Texas Tech when they, when there were some back channel conversations there. Once he went in the portal, I think that was a thing where, again, Tennessee ends up, benefiting from that not being the case. You're not landing him. Obviously, you got the Chaz Coleman situation. Imagine if you're sitting here with Brendan Sorsby on your roster too. Not ideal. So Texas Tech and Brendan obviously parted ways, and we'll kind of see where everything goes from there.
All right, Austin Price of VolQuest.com, part of the On3 Sports Network. You follow him on Twitter at Austin Priceless, which is a great Twitter name, by the way. Great username. Very jealous of that one. We'll talk to you next week, Austin.
Appreciate it, Austin.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, coming up next, I do want to talk a little bit about the University of Tennessee and its kind of maybe shift in approach with the NIL, transfer portal, and recruitment. We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. This is covered. Or nope. Oh, man, I almost made through again.
Almost.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045. I'm Zach Lyons, filling in for Will throughout the week. I'll be here tomorrow. Then it's Stoney Keeley's back and Rhett Bryan Friday.
Yes,
is that
indeed.
correct?
No, we're off Friday.
Oh, yeah, we're off Friday. I always forget we're off Friday.
I know.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Rhett's Monday, man.
I get to chill at home on Friday.
Yes, sir. It'll be a good time, man.
It will be a good time.
Get an opportunity to go see my oldest down in Florida, man.
There you go.
Yeah, so we'll be in and out and about and be back and forth. So yeah, I'm thankful for this Friday.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So when it comes down to the University of Tennessee, we've talked about them being at the forefront of NIL and all these negotiations earlier. And something I kind of noticed, they've been doing a lot of work on the transfer portal. Obviously, this also extends to basketball because Rick Barnes did a lot of work on the transfer portal, something that was very abnormal, I feel like, for the University of Tennessee on the basketball front. But it kind of feels like the winds are shifting a little bit, not just for University of Tennessee, but maybe all across the country, in the fact of everybody's going to the transfer portal, right? Everybody's buying teams, right? Like the Jacksonville Jaguars used to do, and it failed miserably. Cleveland Browns always won the offseason. Tennessee Titans spent a lot of money a couple of years ago and failed the offseason, won the offseason and failed. I do wonder, how is NIL going to affect high school recruiting? Because we've seen a lot of teams pay a lot of money for high school recruits. We'll start with Nico, right? Like, I mean, the University of Tennessee paid Nico a lot of money, never threw a football in the NCAA. You don't really know what you're getting because, I mean, you're exposed some to them, but not a lot to the person. You can project.
Yes, absolutely.
So, like, are we going to see maybe the payments made to recruits and initial NIL contracts and negotiations maybe start to dwindle down?
I'll give you something before you do that. This morning, I don't know if you saw this, but Shams Charania actually went into this for the first time ever. SportsCenter Next and ESPN, they're signing 2 high school basketball players to merchandising deals. The number 1 girls player on the SC Next 100 list, Kalina Smith, and the number 2 boys player on that list for the men's side, Beckham Black, who's the younger brother of Orlando Magic player Anthony Black, I believe is his name. So just to answer that question, to go into that, yes, they will. Merchandising deals.
Yeah. And I think it was reported Lenore Sellers and who's the defensive end from South Carolina, the Demon. Golly, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about. He and one more player from South Carolina just signed Nike deals.
Golly.
And we also know Tristan Keys is an Adidas athlete. Now the Vols are going to Adidas as well. So for the high caliber ones, Zach, I don't think anything changes.
Gotcha.
I think teams, to your point of asking the question, who am I signing out of high school? Will and I have a promo that plays when we're off air, and he credits Josh Pate for the poison pill side of this, where you can poison the water at the top of the Mississippi, but you don't realize until it gets downstream. And the downstream in college sports is high schools. If you are a parent like myself that has a kid that is in the high school world of getting recruiting, about to have 2 of my youngest being a freshman, you are experiencing the poison pill. The Tennessees, the Penn States, the Vandys, the Georgias, the Kentuckys, whoever, the Cincinnatis, like they have to be in a position where they electing to look over some high school recruits. The ones that are lower tiered guys, low 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, you probably are negotiating against nobody at this point. And if you want to be here, you'll be here. And I think teams will continually pay for the high 5 stars and high 4 stars because they have to, because you can project the ESPN, if I'm not mistaken, top 100 or the top 75. And most of those guys kind of get tracked all the way up. I'll never forget Darnell Wright that played for the Vols. 5-star coming out. Next thing you know, he's a first-round draft pick. They can track these guys coming out. That's the reason they only give, I think, like 32. It's essentially 32 first-round draft picks. Yeah. It's the way the 5 stars go or how you accredited those ratings. But when you look at what the Vols have done so far, I think they've been slow and methodical about who they're getting and recruiting this cycle. They're going for guys that either want to be at Tennessee or they're flipping 4 stars from Alabama or from Florida State, or they're going after DGG, the running back, a high 5-star. We'll go get him. And then I think the shift is going to end up being what everybody else is doing. There's usually a copycat league in sports, especially in football. Kurt Cignetti won it with an older team. Vanderbilt reset his floor with an older team. I think the smart ones who can't get all the 4 and 5 stars, like Ohio State, like Georgia, like Texas, like LSU potentially, they're going to shift to going and get the 22-year-old player out of the portal. Why spend $350,000 on this 3-star coming out of high school that I like and I know that's not going to play for 2+ years when I can go get in 1 year their production from a 22, 23-year-old developed, got time under his belt, time on task as far as his position, and I can play him right now. I'd much rather get that, give this kid out of high school maybe $50,000. I do think, to your point, the numbers are going to shrink for some families. And some kids and some athletes, and hard decisions got to be made of, do I go play now at South Dakota? Do I go play now at Carson Newman? Do I go play now at Kennesaw State and wait for my payday 2 years from now? Those are the decisions that have to be met. Like, the poison pill has already started among some high school. Like, we don't speak about all the portal kids who get into the portal and never play again. Like, it's there already. We just don't speak about it because you have, DGG at Tennessee that might get, I don't know what the numbers are, $2 million minimum to sign out of high school. We all look at that. No, some of these kids aren't getting much. I say much, but like $75,000 compared to another dude on your team that's getting $1.8 million, that's a big gap right there.
Right.
And the moment that kid that's getting $75,000 gets a call from Texas Tech and say, hey, or Texas A&M, come join us, we'll give you $650,000. That's what coaches are not willing to deal with anymore, and by not overpaying coming out of high school.
It's going to be interesting because you brought up Indiana and Kurt Cignetti, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, well, he had all 3 stars, right? So you can go for the 5 stars and spend a lot of money, but where does that leave the rest of your budget for some of these schools? Now, obviously, not all budgets are created equally.
No doubt.
But he kind of played a little bit smart. A lot of guys that he brought from James Madison, right? D'Angelo Pons comes to front of mind.
Absolutely.
And they won a championship with all 3 stars. No 4 stars, no 5 stars, all 3-star guys. And maybe there's something to spending your money on the middle in the transfer portal, but also bringing guys with you if you're a coach that comes from a smaller school. These guys that didn't get the opportunities to have a chip on their shoulder.
No doubt.
Because D'Angelo Pons, I mean, one of my favorite players to watch this draft cycle was D'Angelo Pons, and I so wish there was a spot for him on this Tennessee Titans roster because he played. It didn't matter if he's playing at James Madison or he was playing in the college championship game. This guy was beating you down.
Yep.
He didn't care who was, and he was hungry.
Yeah.
Right? And I do think that there are some people, and we've seen it in the NFL, the NBA, baseball. We've seen it in all walks of life. People get paid, they get fat and
happy.
Fat and happy.
Yeah. Think about this hoop situation before we hit the break. Think about what Trinidad Chambliss did for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They went and got a veteran guy nobody knew about, but he saved their year. And now look what happened with Austin Simmons.
Yep.
Think about what Ole Miss probably had to pay Austin Simmons to come there and play quarterback and got outplayed by an older guy in Trinidad Chambliss. And now that guy's gotten a bigger NIL on top of all the money that Ole Miss has paid him to go now to play at Missouri. Or let's look at you guys' situation at Alabama. You got a high 4-star and you got a veteran guy that's come in, or high 5-star.
Yeah.
And we know this, even with the George McIntyre, Faison Brandon situation, to get those high caliber guys in, at least 7 figures is paid out. For the guy that loses a job, and imagine your school has already paid him $1.2 million within 12 months, and he leaves because he's lost a job. Usually in the old ways of doing stuff, you say he'll be here because he can't transfer out. Not no more, which is why the shift to shopping in the transfer portal is probably going to be more prominent than we ever thought.
Yeah, and that's why, Ty Simpson's career arc with Alabama it feels like such an anomaly because that's a guy that could have gone at any point in the transfer portal and gone elsewhere to find a starting job, but he stayed, sat behind Jalen Milroe, and then now went in the first round of the NFL draft and is going to get to sit behind Matt Stafford and probably landed in the best situation, as the situation I kept saying with when me and Blaine talked about this. Like, the ideal situation in general, me and Blaine agreed, was like, find somewhere you can sit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we both suggested the Rams, and that's where he went. And I think that is the perfect situation. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about a few years down the road, Ty Simpson's one of the better NFL quarterbacks. Not the best or anything, but one of the better ones.
Yep, no doubt.
All right. Coming up next, speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk a little bit about Cam Ward, his OTAs, mini camps ramps up. Let's also talk about elite traits as well. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, nobody likes dealing with those issues at all, whether it be your plumbing, your HVAC, or electrical around the house at all. Most of the time, you don't know what it would cost you or if it'll get fixed right, or if they're just trying to sell you something you don't need. I do know this. When you reach out to Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you tell is the price that you'll actually pay, with zero hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all. They will itemize everything that they do on the job inside of your house, show you what it is, the service charge, and hand you the receipt with nothing extra added, or they won't try to sell you anything extra at the end. They've been in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. Their techs, very professional, very experienced, and very trustworthy. And when they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting your time. The motto is 100% satisfaction every single time, of happy you'll be or the service is free. To learn more about Hiller, to book with them like I do, simply head over to happyhiller.com.
9:04. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby is applying to enter the NFL supplemental draft in July per multiple sources. Sorsby received a temporary injunction last week to play college football this season in 2026, but yesterday the Big 12 threatened to file lawsuits, and today Sorsby's attorney will plan to withdraw that lawsuit. Coming up today for the Titans, they begin mandatory minicamp at Vanderbilt Health Football Center. It's the final on-field work of the spring before training camp officially opens this summer in July. Head coach Robert Saleh will speak to the media ahead of practice at 10:15 this morning, followed by coordinators, and then practice will begin at 11:15. In the World Cup yesterday, Cape Verde shocked Spain as they shut out the World Cup favorite with a 0-0 draw. Coming up today, the other World Cup favorite, France, they take on Senegal at 2 o'clock, and Lionel Messi starts his sixth and final World Cup journey as Argentina begins their play today, taking on Algeria at 8 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Final hour. Tomorrow we'll have Bryant McFadden, former Pittsburgh Steeler and current CBS sports analyst, and Rhett Bryan in. Talk some football tomorrow as well. Mini camp starts up. And there's not a real difference between mini camp and OTAs, right? Other than it's mandatory versus voluntary.
And it's a little bit longer.
Right?
It is like, I think
3.5 hours.
Yeah, it's like right at 3 and some change, if I'm not mistaken. You treat it almost like training camp. Is what mini camp is.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So, the big discourse over the last weekend, I'm sure everybody is a little maybe sick and tired of talking about it, but getting someone's perspective that's been at practice. I have not been at practice. Blaine hasn't been at practice. Is this whole conversation around Cam Ward. Now, we can take this multiple different directions, right? Because, I was telling Blaine on Cover 2 yesterday, I was like, I could write an article saying that Cam Ward's going to be the best quarterback in the NFL this year, and it would get thousands upon thousands of views, right?
No doubt.
I could also write Cam Ward's going to be the worst quarterback in the NFL, and it could get thousands and thousands of views.
Yes.
It's like like when people say, oh, you're only writing this for clicks, or you're only saying this for clicks and everything else like that. It's not really the case. And I think my biggest hang up with this whole conversation is that fans that say, well, you guys are just rooting for Cam Ward to fail. Brother, we've gone through 4 losing seasons.
Come on, preach.
I don't think anybody covering the team, whether they're a Titans fan in the past, Buck is not rooting for another crap year.
Right.
You know how hard it is to come up with topics when your team is terrible?
Yeah.
And they were terrible these last 4 years. And I know the last 2 Vrabel years, there were some bright spots, bright moments. I still contend that the year where they started out 7 wins and all that kind of stuff before they fired John Robinson in that Eagles game, those weren't quality wins. I said it back then when they were happening. It's they weren't quality wins.
Right.
But hey, 7's better than 3.
It is way better than 3.
It's why the people who said, well, I don't want to be 8-8 or 9 or 8-9 and 9-8 and all this stuff. I'd rather either be really bad or have you enjoyed the last 2 years is what I want to ask those fans, because that's what really bad is.
Man, really bad is depressing. Zach, you've been here now. You're going on your second lap around the sun doing this.
And maybe it's my fault.
No, don't blame you. No, do not blame you. There's a lot of mishaps that have happened over the course of the last few years as to why you got to this point. That's why I thought Stoney and I's conversation yesterday about the uniqueness of stability.
Yeah.
Coaching changes. What does it mean for the players? Because, Zach, you've seen it. Rosters change. We're looking at, the style of player, in my opinion, that I think Robert Saleh's bringing in on defense has changed, or at least the way they're plucking the veterans to come in looks different. You look at the offensive line, like that looks a little bit different too. Like the offensive line for the Titans, I feel like they're going to average at least like 6'5" in height. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like, shout out to Aaron Brewer, by the way, too, but a monster deal that he's got.
I mean, found that right situation.
But that's the point. I'm glad you said finding the right situation. Like just because you're on a bad team doesn't mean you suck.
Right.
It just might not be the offense for you.
Right.
And like now looking at the way Brian Dable's like bringing this offense together, like one seems to really love the quarterback. And then you look at the parts that are around it. The offensive line is bigger. Like why? Because why did he go get Cam Scatterboo last year? Because he likes a ground and pound game still. And you got to have big boys up front that can handle the wear and tear and just leaning and putting bodies on people, right? So it's that side of it that kind of goes into the conversation as well. But then the style of ball, which we'll get to, and which Cam plays. Dable seems to like this because his track record shows that he likes quarterbacks like that are gunslingers, that are quick trigger, that are good with their feet outside of the pocket type of stuff. And the need for Cam to be good. If you listen to me for the first time, I'm going to sound like a broken record moving forward to you. And if you listen to me in the past, I'm going to say it again. As far as the 2026 season goes, I think it's flagrant to expect Cam to win the Academy Award for Best Actor in this movie. It's just not fair to him. Cam needs to be a great supporting actor in this 2026 version of himself. We talked about it a little bit off air into the pathway and trajectory of New England's quarterback, right? We look at his situation, and you kind of say to yourself, well, he did really good. Well, he also grew into those roles.
Right.
He grew into being better. I don't think you say, here's the ball, Cam, with a new offense, with a new offensive coordinator, with new terminology, with new players. Go be a Pro Bowl All-Pro. Go win league MVP. Drake May, I think, was supported more than we're giving him credit for as far as his defense goes.
Yeah.
Their fourth-place schedule was really a fourth-place schedule. And they got a coach that somewhat understood the scenario. I do think that's a little bit different with the Brian Callahan side of things. I think there was a lot that he learned on the job. Mm-hmm. There was a ton that I think he learned on the job. And I think as it still stands, Cam's going to have some good, and he's going to have probably more bad moments in order to create a thicker skin, better understanding mentally what he can and cannot do, which leads us back to, Zach, the conversation of how good or how bad is Cam in practice.
Yeah. Which is, to me, again, it's June. Like, I
you know what I saw somebody
Carnell
say?
Tate catching those passes.
Yes.
It's June.
It's still June to you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like, and that's maybe a little bit of me just doing the podcast since 2017. For sure. I used to get really excited about June, and I am excited about June from a radio perspective because not only is the fan in me, it's like football's here. We're getting a little football. We're getting some highlights. But like I've also learned, okay, stuff that happens in June doesn't really matter for the big scheme of what you're looking for in a player. And I'm like, okay, here's what I'd say about the Carnell Tate stuff. Love the Carnell Tate stuff. Love the highlights. It's June. Glad he's looking like a first-round pick against a seventh-round pick who is about, 4 inches shorter than him, who's still at his hip. Mm-hmm. Just want to say, he's right there. I mean, if Micah Robinson was maybe Alante Taylor or Cordell Flott, are we getting those highlights?
Yeah.
And that's fine. Hey, let's get excited. Let's get hype. I'm not here to, tell you can't do this or you can't do that. Right. I'm just saying, it's just June. We'll see what Carnell Tate is in September. We'll see more of what Carnell Tate can be maybe this week because a couple of the veterans are showing up that haven't been there. Maybe we'll continue to see the highlight catches and all that kind of stuff. But also, who's throwing those highlight catches? Yeah. Oh, Cam Ward is.
Yeah.
Who's throwing it to only where Carnell Tate can get it on with the fingertips? Oh, that's Cam Ward. So, we're praising Carnell Tate for all these amazing catches, but Cam Ward kind of gets the little bit of the shaft. Yeah. And listen, I understand it's a very small few of the media that's really going hard on Cam Ward week in and week out. Very few. And listen, headlines are headlines when you're talking about writing an article. How many people on ESPN, the people who write the articles for ESPN aren't the ones that come up with the headlines.
Preach.
So, like, it's all about what's the substance in there, and we can't be mad when people tell the truth, whether it's a negative truth or a positive truth.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's the truth, that's really all that matters. Not everybody spewing truth, but just saying the majority. I know fans hate that when we say, well, I can't believe fans say this, and they're like, well, that's just a small part of fans.
Right.
Well, you can't say all of Titans media and not say, well, it's really like one or two.
That's true.
I just feel like it's a fun topic because, listen, it's summer, it's June.
Yeah.
We already have the NBA Stanley Cup's gone. We got a little bit of World Cup stuff, but like this is the fun stuff to talk about is that really I'm not out there. These fans aren't out there. So these fans, when they hear, they love the idea of Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Cam Ward's going to be good or not. I don't know whether he's going to be a guy that elevates the people around him or if he's a guy that you have to build a team around, like a Jordan Love or a Baker Mayfield. I wouldn't consider those guys elevators. Sam Darnold, right?
Oh.
Those guys don't elevate the team around them. They do get the most out of their team, but they're really kind of carried by their surroundings.
They don't mess it up.
They don't mess it up.
They don't mess it up. And you bring up a good point, though, too, because we don't know what the end game's going to be. Like, I love what you just said. Is Cam a pull you to the finish line type of guy? Or is he, hey, we got to surround him? And I will say this, too. Most quarterbacks would love to be surrounded by elite talent.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
That's just...
I mean, to be honest, Peyton Manning had a pretty good surroundings, okay? And he's still good.
No doubt.
I'm not taking anything away from Peyton Manning, but like also look at Tom Brady's best years were with Tampa Bay, where he had all those things, and Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez.
Think about it. Like the good quarterbacks, they will elevate some guys. Like look at Wes Welker's situation. Like or look at Hogan's situation. Like he elevated some guys in that.
A Julian Edelman would be good too.
Yes, 100%. Like there's that side of it, or you have running games like LeGarrette Blount that turns into a star because there's great balance in the offense that allows the run game to be elite. Like those types of things are part of it as well. But it's not just one sole person in this. And to get back to the original part of Cam, how important is it for him to look? I usually give a quarterback 3 years. That's my only thing in this. Give me the shocker. That is, okay, even if you look at Jaden Daniels' situation. Year one, amazing. What was year two for Jaden Daniels?
Yeah. The big thing that I didn't like about Jaden Daniels coming out of college was that, man, I feel like he's very going to be injury prone in the NFL, like his frame and all that stuff. And what'd they do? They pounded him.
Yes. And okay, let's go to CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Another situation. Really good in year one. We could go to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Same conversation.
But he had the progression, right? A 3-year progression.
So I know we're up against but how far have we removed ourselves from grace given on quarterbacks in this league? Is it because of the money? Is it because we've seen one or two quarterbacks come in and set the world on fire? Is it because we pass too much in today's NFL? Because we've kind of reset ourselves from overpaying rookies to meet expectations. I continually bring up Sam Bradford and Matthew Stafford, like $52 and $70+ million just to sign, and they never played before. Well, we've reset that, so why are we in such a rush to push these quarterbacks to be that good? You mentioned earlier with Ty Simpson. I look at Fernando Mendoza's situation. Both of those guys need to sit potentially for a good bit of time before being ruined. I look at Atlanta. I can give a scenario after scenario almost at this point where Michael Penix Jr. was pretty much forced into it. And right now, what is Michael Penix going to be?
Yeah.
You look at Tua.
Yeah.
Tua's out of Miami. Is it because he was rushed into it too much too soon, have a really good year, and then it crashes and burn? Like, nobody's given the grace anymore for the development side, even Zach in June.
There you go. We'll talk more about Cam Ward development, the quarterback situation here in the NFL in general, because I think this is a good conversation to continue. Coming up next, this is Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. I love Wolfmother. One of my favorite bands, Joker and the Thief, is an awesome song.
I had no idea.
We just discovered this last week.
Oh, really? Oh, man, it's been around since, I don't know, 07, 08 or something like that.
It was 06.
Yeah, 06.
This is what it was.
There's a movie that everybody makes fun of me for really enjoying. It's a Clive Owen movie called Shoot 'Em Up. And it's an action movie. It's an over the top. The point is to be an over the top ridiculous action movie. It's got Paul Giamatti and Monica Bellucci in it as well. And this is the opening of Shoot 'Em Up.
Yeah,
like that song was the opening of Shoot 'Em Up. It's a fantastic. If you don't take it seriously, it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah,
they were at Bonnaroo last weekend.
Oh yeah,
they were.
That's one I want to cross off. Them, Limp Bizkit, a few other rock artists I want to cross off the list.
We really are the same era. You mentioned Limp Bizkit. Like,
I mean, what month is your birthday?
My month is January. I'm January 7th.
Did you have to think?
Are you January 86 though?
86,
right?
yeah.
See, I'm July 85.
Yeah, I'm January 86.
So I'm older than you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm July of 85.
July
so
what?
July 16th.
Okay, my brother's the 15th.
There you
Leonardo.
go. There you
Silent
go.
Assassin.
Yeah. So I'm I'll be 41
birthday.
this year.
You had the perfect birthday for school too.
Yeah.
You're in the middle
Pool parties
of
all the time.
Pool parties and also like the back to school like gifts. Like mine is right after the holidays.
Yeah.
Mine was wrapped up around Christmas.
Right.
Or I just get like something very basic, like here's a spoon. You just had your birthday gifts at Christmas, man.
Here's a spoon.
Seriously, the coolest post-Christmas birthday gift I ever got, my mom bought me, and I was like 14 years old at the time. She bought me a paintball gun. It was from Walmart. So it wasn't like super expensive. It might have been, at the time it was. It was probably like $50 for one.
Yeah.
And I had to buy the cartridges and the paintball.
How many times did you go play paintball after that?
In that era, we used to go all the
really?
time. Yeah, we had my criminal justice teacher used to take us to the paintball courses, whatever that was around. So we did those. It was off, I think, in Millington, Tennessee. Your stomping area.
Yeah.
Your stomping area.
Yeah.
Or where you went to college at.
Yeah, over in Memphis. All right. Quarterback development isn't linear. And we're going to do what we did yesterday. Tomorrow we're going to talk about quarterback traits because I don't think we'll have enough time to really dive deep into the conversation of like what are quarterback traits or what are the traits that make a quarterback? What are the elite traits and are elite traits overinflated? Like they're not overrated or overvalued, but are they overinflated? And thanks to Bert for giving me that phrase yesterday when we were talking about it on the golf cart. But are they overinflated? Because Sam Darnold obviously can be used for the how to mess up the development of a quarterback, but can also a guy that rebounded with the right situations, like we're talking about Aaron Brewer earlier, right situations.
Systems, right?
Right systems.
Which is crazy because people make such a bad just description of what a system is to a player.
Yeah.
And that, I said it to Stoney yesterday, like I wouldn't have worked in an outside zone system. I'm a power. I'm an inside zone offensive lineman. I understand them. But as far as career-wise, wouldn't have worked.
Right.
Just wouldn't have worked, Stone. I mean, I was about to call you Stoney, Zach. It just wouldn't have worked. So, go ahead, though.
Yeah, so, Anthony Richardson, right? Yeah. I mean, that was a guy that clearly, he only started 12 games in college, right? I think it was 12. And clearly needed time to sit on the bench. And what did the Indianapolis Colts do? Well, we draft him 4th overall. Let's throw him into the fire and let's be done with it and let's see what he is. Sink or swim. Yep. The sink or swim mentality almost derailed Bryce Young. Like Dave Canales comes in, helps Bryce Young. And Drake May, I think Drake May is the example that's used for Cam Ward a lot, which I find very interesting because I don't think they're kind of similar quarterbacks, but the situation is kind of the same.
No doubt.
Because what is Drake May got a failed head coach that was his offensive coordinator, who also has proven to be a good offensive coordinator, one of the best offensive coordinators in Josh McDaniels.
Heck of a play caller.
He also got Mike Vrabel, who was a defensive head coach who last 2 seasons, 7 and 6 wins, right? Oh. And he comes here. And so Robert Saleh, failed defensive head coach. Then you got Brian Dable, one of the better I don't know if I'd say elite play callers, but one of the better.
He know what he doing.
He knows what he's doing.
Yes.
You made a bunch of improvements on defense, just like the New England Patriots did. You've added weapons around him, just like the New England Patriots did, right? Like a lot of this is very similar. Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, two different styles of runners, but they're kind of like that guy that's like, okay, well, I think Tony Pollard is way better than Stevenson, but like
great support group,
good support.
Yep.
So I look at this and I'm like, I don't really hear many people saying like, well, we expect to be in the playoffs or we expect to be in the Super Bowl. But I do hear a lot of people say Cam Ward's the next Peyton Manning. Cam Ward's the next Drake May. Cam Ward's the next this, next that. Cam Ward just needs to be the next better version of Cam Ward.
I agree.
In the progression, not the next best version of Cam Ward that is throwing for 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, right? Like, we need to see tangible growth. Are you going to see that in June? I think people want to, and people may turn a blind eye and think that, well, it's not as bad as what it is.
Yeah. But
at the end of the day, I'm looking at him going, just be better than last year, and we're trending in the right direction.
There's a guy whose stat line, the stats don't tell the whole story, but it can at least paint a good picture for you. You mentioned the Drake May and just team comparison between what the Patriots are and what the Titans are currently as well. And that makes really good sense. It's fascinating you mentioned like giving it time. Like how much time are you going to allow Cam to kind of build this thing up? Because one thing I know is this, like if more time on the job should mean better improvement, better play, better understanding. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was a pro. Mind you, my second year I played in the Super Bowl. I was starting games. I was in on everything that was a starter, but I didn't really feel like a pro until like year 5. That probably is, I don't know if there's an indictment on me or if other players in the NFL feel the exact same way too. What I would say is this. One of the most important coaches in my life was Coach Mike Munchak. He felt like players that in years 5 through 8 is when you hit your prime. Now, some hit it sooner, right? As far as like, man, this guy's taking off. He's just an elite talent. Like, that's just how it goes sometimes. Like, when you look at Javon Curse, he was a freak, literally, okay? Yeah. When it comes down to what he was as a player. I think Taylor Lewan struggled earlier in his career. Yeah. And he didn't really catch on in like years 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Like, that's just kind of the way it goes. So it's different for the quarterback position because I know so much is weighed on them. You mentioned the Drake May side of this thing, getting the right coaches, building up the floor as far as talent goes and the expectation. Just looking at the season, you brought up Bryce Young and Dave Canales. Yeah. Same thing, hard reset. Matt Rule, not the ideal coach, clearly, for what he was. Dave Canales gets in, and this is going into year 3, I think, for him. So I'm looking at Bryce Young's pathway. He started 16 games in 23. Completion percentage, 59.8%. He had 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He was 2-14 as a starter. Bad. He was also sacked 62 times. Now, that's a frail young man. Okay?
Yeah.
He's a slight in size young man. Year 2 for him, 2024. Started in 14 games. No, started 12 games, was available for 12. He got benched by
because that was
Rifle.
the Andy Dalton.
Andy Dolphin.
Yeah.
As a starter, he was 4-8. Okay? As a starter. His completion percentage, 60.9%, so 61%. Had 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Sacks, though, 29 times he was sacked. Now, let's go to the year 3 jump, what I always speak about. Again, Cam in year 2 is still a co-star. He's not the starring Cam. I know he leads his team. I know he's out front with his team. Everybody sees what Cam's going to be. But as far as the role that he should play or need to play with this team, let it organically grow. Bryce Young last year, he was available for 16 games and started in all 16 games. As a starter, he was 8-8. Carolina Panthers, as a starter, he was 8-8. His completion percentage went up again, 63.6%. Best career that he's had. Also threw over 3,000 yards. He had 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and guess what also went down? He went from 29 to 27 sacks.
Yep.
They learned to protect him. They're giving him more weapons.
Over more games, by the way.
Exactly. Over more games, less sacks going into it as well. I know people don't we hate being in real time saying, boy, it's almost there. And I know this fan base is probably tired of, boy, we almost are there. It's almost there. Just one more player here, and we got our Messiah and quarterback that we love. But the proper way of doing this is not to ruin them early, because when a player feels like that they're up against it, or the world's against them, or the game plan is not good enough for them, you force yourself into doing irregular things that you never practiced before. Will Levis wasn't in a position where he's ever in his life thought about flipping the ball backwards in the air. You know why? Because he was pressing. This growth period that Cam has to have needs to happen over time. And what we're evaluating right now in June, I don't think is fair. The way I've seen it in the open practices that we were allowed to go to last week, there was a couple of plays that happened. Some post routes. One of them was Carnell. I think he let it float a little bit too outside. My eyes on that, the way I was seeing it from the end zone, was there was a safety right there. Kevin Winston was right there on Carnell, peeling back to kind of watch the ball in the air. Ball just kind of floated. Probably misread the safety, misread Carnell. Either way, ball missed. Another one was it was too far inside. So we got two extremes there, one far outside, one inside. You'd hope the next time around he hits that one. I continually tell the story about the Chimere DK play. Ball kind of floated outside. Probably feet weren't right, but that's what film is for. The cool part about that was he got that play back and he ended up hitting Xavier Restrepo. Mind you, also, maybe that is a part of his game, figuring out how do I hit my down-the-field balls that are contested to the wide receivers that I'm throwing them to. It's just a tricky, finicky situation. I don't want to make excuses for Cam or look like I'm covering for him, no, Zach, but the way I view this time of the year is let me test and see where I'm at. What I can tell you is this. His pocket presence has been a whole lot better than from what I've seen.
Which is huge for a guy like Cam Ward.
With the sack, with the fumbles that happened last year in the pocket. Pocket presence has been a whole lot better. Not only, and this is all stuff that the open crowd has been able to report on as well. I'm just giving you through my eyes to let you know it's not all doom and gloom. When you look at his ability, and this is where I think is most exciting, the down the field 50-50 balls, they just are that. When you look at Cam's precision within the first 12 yards of the line of scrimmage on how he hit slants, you mentioned Carnell Tate catching the ball on the sideline with a DB wrapped all over him. That connection and those millimeters of air that he has to complete it has been there. The quick whip that he has is still there. It's a matter of piecing it all together, minimizing his mistakes, and if Brian Dable is as smart as I think he is, maximizing what Cam's good at. Maybe the game plan we're seeing this time of year isn't what you are willing to go to in year two. And is it fair or unfair to Cam say, well, you're the number one overall quarterback? Yeah. But there's still growth to be had. You got to think it's been 5 OCs within 4 years for him.
Yeah.
You got to think Bo Hardigree also called plays for Cam last year.
He basically had 3 or 4 different voices inside his head at all times.
So I can tell you bad and make you feel like this team is going to suck. But I can also say to you, this is why I think this staff went out and poured heavy into defense in the free agency.
Well, and not only that, they surrounded him with Carnell Tate. They kept Calvin Ridley at a reduced price. They're bringing in Wan'Dale Robinson, Gunnar Helms in year 2, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Nick Singleton, Daniel Bellinger, Elikai Manor and Chimere DK are now down the depth chart.
KJ Osborne's a veteran.
Yeah. And because I'm looking at this Bryce Young conversation, and I'm looking at 2023.
You see it.
Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Jonathan Mingo are his top 3 receivers. Then it's Chuba Hubbard, Tommy Trimble, Hayden Hurst.
Anybody's going to be bad with that roster.
And so that was his rookie year. 2024, it didn't get much better. Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, and Deontay Johnson.
Who was
nobody got more than 615 yards in his second year as a number 1 overall pick.
Keep going.
That's how you ruin it, right? They got Ted McMillan last year, and then Bryce Young's looking better. They invested in the trenches. Bryce Young's looking better. Cam Ward, in year 2, you can say this, because we have talked about the Tennessee Titans not building around their quarterback a lot.
Yeah.
Marcus was thrown to Rashard Matthews, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No slight to Delaney Walker, DeMarco Murray, and Derrick Henry.
For sure.
And definitely no slight. At the point that they got A.J. Brown, it was over for Marcus. Listen, Corey Davis was fine, but he wasn't worth the 5th overall pick. But in that draft, It was a terrible wide receiver draft. He's the best wide receiver. But they didn't do a really good job of building around Marcus. And then they let everything deteriorate around Ryan Tannehill. And that they made attempts. It was just the wrong attempts. And then last year, that was not a conducive environment for any number one overall pick to step into. Look at Caleb Williams. What he stepped into as a rookie is one of the best surrounding, supporting cast for a rookie quarterback. And people overlook, he was actually pretty good his rookie year, but people overlook it at his rookie season because Jaden Daniels was so good.
So he was so hot.
He was so hot.
He was, man. And here's the other part, though, too. You're watching the Panthers kind of slowly get to that point where they're beating Tampa. They're beating Atlanta. Like, those are the phases that you kind of want to see. And even this year, they go out and get a Monroe Freeland as a tackle. So more protection for him.
Right.
They go get a second-round defensive tackle. And, as a matter of fact, we'll go get Chris Brazzell, another wide receiver who they seem to be loving right now,
Yeah,
too.
they really seem to be taking off.
And I hadn't even looked at what the free agency class has been for the Panthers this offseason, too. But the point is just this. We can absolutely just rail all things that Cam is doing this time of the year. And I will be the first one to tell you, like, there are some portions that you want to see. The layups, you got to make the layups. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The layups have to be made more times than not. You can't just get us with, that was such a hot play. We love the big plays. No, make it boring. Make it Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I want it as boring as it can possibly be because that lets me know that you're cooking and knowing everything that you're supposed to be doing.
Master the mundane. The one thing that I will say that I do agree with Brian Callahan on, he said that 80% of quarterback play is boring. Mastering the mundane is important. Bo Hardegree said, hey, you can't have Superman without Clark Kent. And I for all of their faults last year, I do agree with those two things. Devin Lloyd, Jalen Phillips are two of the free agent acquisitions.
Again, more defense.
Yep. And Rasheed Walker was another one that they brought in. And John Mechie.
Oh, no, they released him. Yeah,
John Mechie. So, I mean, they've done a lot, but they've been kind of slow. I mean, it's still Ted McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Chris Brazzell, John Mechie, and Jimmy Horn Jr. as their top 6 wide receivers. Cam Ward's got a better top 6 wide receivers than that, in my opinion. So, again, I'm not here trying to make excuses for Cam Ward, but this is also a lot of new timing, a lot of new issues. I do want to ask you one question when we come back about what they said about these practices and what that actually means for the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon and Will here on 105 The Zone. Been great. End of the show here. We've been talking about Cam Ward. So I wanted to ask you this question, and hopefully we have enough time to get the proper answer. But Ramon, I wanted to ask you, when they say they're making things difficult for Cam Ward in OTAs and practice, like they're purposely doing it. We heard the same thing about Denard Wilson and Brian Callahan last year. They extended all the way in training camp. Don't worry, things are supposed to be difficult. We're making life difficult. What does that actually mean for Cam Ward, and how much stock should we put into that? Because that is being used by fans as the excuse of, well, don't worry about this because they're making life difficult for Cam Ward right now on purpose. Like, what does that really mean?
That might be the scenario we had last week.
Yeah.
That is both his tackles reported not at practice. Put the backups in. See how Cam handles the pressure, because you know there's going to be pressure when there's backup linemen, and it's just how it kind of goes. I was wondering that, like, why isn't Dan or JC here? Well, maybe this is the week for Cam not to have his starters. How are you going to elevate everybody? Let's just start there. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah.
But that we can start there. Also, knowing the script. Coaches exchange the script or talk about the script. Hey, this ball should go here. Put Kevin Winston over the top right here so that Cam try to force the ball in right there. It's the amount of blitzes that you can send to him, too. It is potentially not even showing Cam. Well, they do walkthrough, so I can't say that Cam doesn't see the script, but maybe they get off of, maybe defense changes their plays according to what they've seen on the script. There are so many different ways that you can do that type of stuff too. The situation they're putting Cam in, okay, is it second down that he's only dealing with? That he's got to get a first down now on third, like the scenarios. But I'll just start with the personnel that he's had. Who's been available to him? That part of it. No tackles. Carnell may have been in a day or not. You know, like it's that side of it. Who can you elevate when it's just you? Do they move slowly around? Do they put Jackson Slater in from time to time? Is Cam going to work with the 2 offensive line instead of the first offensive line? Those are ways you can kind of force him to step up, dial in a little bit more, or is it too much for him? Those are the scenarios that you put a player in. You can't go hit him. You can't force him to do certain things like that, but you can put him in scenarios that he's up against.
So I find that interesting because I never would have thought of, like, okay, well, the tackle situation, right? I mean, obviously not out there at practice like you are, so I didn't even know that, like,
it was reported.
Well, I knew that Dan Moore wasn't out there, but I didn't know J.C. Latham wasn't out there until earlier when Rhett was in here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't even think to ask or know if J.C. Latham was out there. I just assumed he was.
Yeah.
And that could be by design, I guess, right? Like, I mean, I find that to be an interesting scenario where it's like, you know, you're making life difficult on Cam by not having either tackle out there.
Or making Cam run with the, put in air quotation marks, the 2-depth wide receiver group.
Yeah.
Okay, do you put him in with Jaren Kanak instead of Gunnar Hell? Do you put him in with Jaren Kanak instead of Daniel Bellinger? That side of it as well, the handoff game. Are you giving it to Singleton instead of working with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears? So, like, there's a lot that goes into this time of the year, and the coaches have to do this because guess why? Injuries happen. They got to see what the backup's going to look like with Cam. Anyway, who's going to step up? KJ Osborne, you're the only vet working today. Good luck. Figure it out. Like, can you get on the same page as Cam? Like, all of this could seem like, oh, that's just excuse making. No, this is what teams do this time of the year. It will be times where coach would tell us, hey, fellas, it's player 67's day. Don't save him. It's just his day today.
Yeah.
And they were going to send everything they could at him, make him do stuff that he's never done before. Because why? We got to see what you're made of, what kind of stress we can put you through. Because last thing you can have on game day is to be shocked by a player not knowing what they're doing.
Well, I mean, how many times, I don't mean to bring up Brian Callahan, we're up against it, but how many times did Brian Callahan come up to the podium and say, well, they kind of showed us a bunch of looks that we weren't prepared for?
How soon we forget?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Practice is a stress test.
Yeah. There you go.
And you got to see how you're going to pass it, man. So, woosah is what I would tell you.
Yeah. Today, woosah for both the pro-Cam people and the anti-Cam people. Let's just meet in the middle and just enjoy that we have football back. Mini camp practices start today. Coaches will be up at the podium as well. I think I passed the stress test today. No stress. No stress over here.
I can help make it easy for
thanks
you,
to Justin Hawkins behind the glass, keeping us on time. Ramon, It's been a pleasure. See you tomorrow morning.
See you mañana. But remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.